Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And sadly, we've got a lot to talk about today because there have been multiple tragedies here in the United States and around the world over the weekend. Of course, Brown University in Rhode Island, the attack on Americans in Syria, the anti-Semitic Islamic terrorist attack in Australia. And then when I woke up early this morning and grabbed my phone and I saw that Rob Reiner and his wife had been murdered, stabbed to death. Most media accounts say the suspect is their son. I was shocked at that. I don't remember a moment in time that I didn't know about Rob Reiner, because when I was a little kid, before cable television existed, and there were only 3 channels, and then the UHF channels for PBS. You had really 4 channels, right? The 3 networks and PBS. All in the Family was the biggest show ever. I mean, you know, and for this to happen with Rob Reiner, so there's a lot of tragedy going on that we're going to cover. I want to start with what's going on in Rhode Island. And this is just bizarre. I did not do a podcast yesterday afternoon about this because we didn't know enough. The suspect that they had in custody, that they released, well, they said detained, some legalese, but the guy that they had detained and in custody, it just didn't make sense. With this guy here, didn't seem like he was, going to be the one, right? I mean, it's just Laura Loomer, who I always tell you, if Laura Loomer reports something, you can take it to the bank. She is always correct. She's always right. I've never known her to have to retract anything she says. And her reporting is 100% accurate. And Laura Loomer had been reporting early on in the Brown University incident that the shooter, witnesses have said, heard him yell, Allah Akbar. And then they get this white guy who, they didn't want to tell us who he was. And then eventually they do, and then we find out all kinds of things about him, which I'll get into as time goes on. But I didn't do a podcast yesterday. A lot of people that do shows like this, when there's breaking news, they want to get out there right away so they can be a part of it. I don't do that if we don't know anything. And the guy they had detained, when they named him, it didn't fit anything. So I didn't do a podcast yesterday afternoon or in the evening on it because it just didn't make sense to me. And I know a lot of people, they want to be the first one on social media to say, this is the person, this is the person. And I knew it wasn't. I just knew it wasn't. And I wasn't going to go on the air and talk about this person if it was not them. And shame on people who did, just so they can try to get some views and clicks on that. But it's been reported that Brown University, they have more cameras on the campus of Brown University maybe than any other college out there, and probably more cameras than a lot of the universities combined. And all we're seeing is this one image to try to ID him from. That's a very strange. It's a very strange image. It's, all masked up. It's not the actual incident. One thing about IDing people is, and this is, I talked about this after the Charlie Kirk assassination. When you know someone, you can tell who they are without seeing their face, just by their stance, how they walk, how they stand, the clothes that they're wearing. And the more images they give us of this guy, the more likely, of the shooter at Brown, the more likely someone is to the way cameras are today, when you're a university like this, the camera they have shown us is so grainy. You know, when there's a school like this that's so camered up, believe me, many of the cameras and key places are high definition 4K cameras. You know, come on. You know, I don't have $1 billion. Oh, they have multi-billions of dollars in their endowment, Brown University. I don't have that. And I've got great cameras all over my house. You know, you hear me talk about Sloman's a lot. You know, my cameras have much better footage than what we're seeing from this one image. It's almost like they don't want us to know. Rhode Island, they're so liberal in Rhode Island. When the mayor of Providence came out, and I'm not joking with this, I did not know that when he first came out for that first press conference, and I saw it yesterday morning, I didn't know if the mayor of Providence was a man or a woman or someone transitioning or someone who was transgender. I really didn't know. And then their chief of police, this colonel, why is he giving press conferences in Spanish in Rhode Island? You know, I found that rather offensive. They have the press conference. He's there at the press conference, right? They got all the big shots there. The police chief, the colonel, he's doing it. And then Telemundo asked him if he could do it all in Spanish. Well, excuse me? I mean, we got more important things than that. You know, put the subtitles on. And that was the first time. And then after that, the press conferences, I saw the police chief in after that. He just automatically started doing it in Spanish. Oh, my goodness. I mean, you know, it really shows you what a bad state we're in. That was the first time I've seen that, where we had a major national incident like this. And the police chief's doing the press conference in Spanish. And the reason, and everybody knows this is no big revelation that I'm about to give you. The reason we haven't seen more cameras is they don't want us to see more cameras. You know, they have in this Allah Akbar that he was yelling, the Brown shooter that Laura Loomer's been reporting, you're not seeing them talk about that. And for a number of reasons, and they're putting off what they know. They don't want it out there. They figure the longer I don't know why they put these things off. You know, the longer they put off giving you detailed information about suspects in high-profile cases, the more, well, first off, you've got, they released the guy that they were detaining, so the shooter is on the loose somewhere. Where they are, we don't know. They could be anywhere in the country. However, in most instances, when I followed high-profile crime incidents, they're not that far away. Although Rhode Island is the smallest state in the union, you could walk to the neighboring state basically. So I mean, he could be in a neighboring state, but Rhode Island's so small, it's not the same thing, right? As if he's in another state. He's not far, probably, whoever he really is. And they're withholding because they're liberal in their political correctness. They're holding valuable information because of their liberalism. The Allah Akbar, as an example. More video and stills that are clearer. They, out of their liberal Trump derangement syndrome suffering brains, and I promise you there's a lot of Trump derangement syndrome there. They're all hardcore leftist. The police chief, you think that police chief would cooperate with ICE? You think, or would that police chief doing the press conference in Spanish obstruct ICE? Come on. There's this one witness that's been all over the place, CNN, ABC. This is from ABC. The shooter came in his classroom.
Joseph Adura was leading a study group when the gunman walked into his lecture hall. He told his story to ABC News Live anchor Whit Johnson. Take a listen.
We heard commotion outside the door of what sounded like students screaming and like the sound of gunshots, but none of our minds, at least my mind, I can't speak for everyone, but that's not the first thing you identify that sound with. We're at Brown University, which is an Ivy League institution. You assume that you're going to be safe. And around 5 seconds or so later, we see a gunman walk in on the left-hand side.
And he just barged into the classroom?
Yeah.
What did he say? What happened next?
I don't know what he said. I know he mumbled something, screamed something. I don't know exactly what was said, but he entered the room and you could just see the panic in all the students' eyes. I was standing in the front, so as soon as he walked in, he immediately saw me and I immediately saw him. And then I look to my right and I see a bunch of students running down the stairs, running out the door, jumping on the ground, just whatever it takes to stay alive.
When you made eye contact with him, what did your mind tell you in terms of what was happening in that moment? Were you able to register what was happening?
I immediately when I saw him, I saw a gun. The gun was so big and long that I genuinely thought, like, okay, this is the end of the road for me.
Okay. You know, a couple of things about this guy. You know, okay. The two that were killed, one of them was the head of the Republican club. There's like 3 Republicans at Brown University, and he shot one of them. I mean, what are the odds of that? I got a couple questions. These are serious questions. And your thoughts on, by the way, all of these stories over the weekend, right? Brown, Australia, Syria, Rob Reiner. Your calls are welcome on all of these incidents. And I know you guys have been watching the news a lot, so you know maybe you have some pieces of the puzzle that I haven't missed. We put things together, but I got a couple questions I want to ask you about this. Do you think that this teacher assistant, he really didn't understand what the guy was yelling? Laura Loomer says students said that he yelled Allah Akbar. Do you think that this teaching assistant really does not know what he said? It's possible, you know, the panic, you know, when you're in a situation like that, I get it. But do you really think he doesn't know? Or is that his liberalism not wanting to say the truth out of political correctness? You know, liberals are politically correct even when it comes to killers. They have a long history of this. So do you think that this teaching assistant really didn't hear what he said? Because he said he yelled it. Also, you know, if this is just a mass shooter, he burst into the classroom. The professors in the center, they locked eyes, he said. He also talked to Dana Bash. I'll play some of that in a bit. How did he get so lucky? Did the teaching assistant not get shot by this shooter because he's black? Was this a racially motivated thing? Was it another anti-Semitic attack like in Australia? Who knows about those? But what do you think? Do you think those things are true with this guy? I think something is really strange about it. If you're new to my program, welcome. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And, of course, this early pre-show will be on the radio in about 12 to 15 minutes, but the early pre-show, of course, brought to you by the next governor, next governor of Minnesota. That's Mike Lindell at MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com. Use my promo code Kane at checkout. Look at these incredible deals. Save 50% off the 6-piece MyPillow towel sets. You know, right before, I was a couple minutes late coming on because I took the lid off of my coffee so it'd cool off. And I tapped it on my desk. I spilled coffee all over my desk here. And I've got my equipment, my computers and stuff here. I went and grabbed the MyPillow towel and boom, dried it all off. It's like a Bounty paper towel. It absorbed all the coffee. It's amazing. The same towel, by the way, that I dried off with when I got out of the shower this morning, right? Because I'm at my home studio today. These MyPillow towels are absolutely amazing. 50% off. The Giza Dream Sheets over 50% off. The premium MyPillow save over 50% off. Huge savings on the mattress toppers. The MyPillow slippers just $39.98, all sizes, all colors, all styles. And you can use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, site-wide on all the specials at mypillow.com. We'll be right back. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping. All right, we're back. All right, so this is the same guy, the teaching assistant, with Dana Bash on CNN.
So you saw the gunman enter the room where you were?
Yeah, I was standing in the front of the auditorium and he came through the back. So we pretty much directly made eye contact. And then as soon as that happened, I looked at my students and signaled them to come to the front, and then I just ducked.
Mm-hmm. Now this guy's doing a lot of interviews, and I understand the man was masked and but he doesn't have any identifying characteristics in any of these interviews on the shooter. White, black, Muslim. You know, you can have a mask on, but you still see the eyes, and you can see the skin color through the eyes. You can usually, even if they're wearing gloves and a jacket, if they're holding a gun, you can see wrist, you can see skin color. You know, this guy, he's, you know, thank the Lord above that he's with us, because he could have been a victim. But all these interviews he's doing, he's not giving much information at all.
And was the gunman shooting when he entered the room?
No, he came in, pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students know what he said. But
I remember Laura Loomer said he was yelling Allah Akbar. So here's that question. Does this guy really not know what he said, or has no clue what he said? It's possible. I mean, a guy comes in with a gun, bursting in the door. You've heard gunshots. It's a frightening thing, and you get tunnel vision, tunnel here. I get it. It's possible. Or is this political correctness gone nuts? I find it hard to believe that he doesn't have any inkling whatsoever as to what the guy said. And also, I find it hard to believe he doesn't have the slightest idea of any identifying characteristics. We're not hearing height, body build, skin color. When he yelled, we're not hearing anything about an accent. Was it an American accent? Was it a foreign accent? Was it a Southern accent? Was it a New York accent? Was it a Boston accent? We're not getting anything like that. And by the way, Dana Bash doesn't seem interested in asking any of these things either.
no, he came in, pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students know what he said. But yeah, then he just started shooting right after that. So from that moment to the first gunshot, it was probably around 5 to 7 seconds.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that you already had heard the gunshot outside the classroom, and then all of a sudden he appeared in your classroom, screamed something, and
we heard what sounded like gunshots outside, yes, but my mind didn't necessarily go to gunshots right away, just because we're at Brown University. It's an Ivy League institution. You don't really assume the first loud sound you hear is gunshots until you see the gun right in front of you and you could see it going on.
I can't even imagine how terrifying that was. You're the person in charge. You're the TA in the classroom helping these students study, and you look up and there is a man with a gun, and he started to shoot in the auditorium where you were leading the study session.
Well, at least we have confirmation it's a man.
I know it's probably a blur, but what unfolded from there?
As soon as he started shooting, I just wanted to make sure that the rest of the students and I were safe. And then from the time that transpired, I made sure to call 911 and DPS. And I tried to let them know the situation, but with it still being extremely fresh and it honestly feeling like super unreal, I couldn't really explain any real details other than that we were in the room of Barris and Holly 166, and I was with around 20 students hiding behind that desk. So it was mostly just mumbling, trying to get as much help as I can.
You know, another thing too, when everything's over, the people involved talk amongst themselves and put things together. You know, what did you hear? What did you see? I'm not hearing anything like that. I find the story that he's now again, I understand he could be in total shock. I get it, but I just find the lack of any detail on the shooter's look, skin color, identity, accent, voice, what he said, tone. Age, you could tell age from voice sometimes. You know, I just find that very suspect. It's just very odd to me. Do you guys agree with that?
Around 20 students behind one desk. Can you describe the sort of physical layout of where you were a little bit more?
Yeah, so the desk is probably a length of around 10 feet or so. And we all just hid behind it as best as we could. There wasn't too much space, but we made do because at the end of the day, we just all wanted to survive.
And was he shooting towards you?
He was shooting. The first couple gunshots went straight to the chalkboard, exactly where I was standing. So who knows, if I didn't duck, maybe I'm not here today. That's something we don't know.
Did it appear indiscriminate, or did it appear that he was looking for somebody?
That part, I'm not too sure. As soon as I locked eyes with him and his gun, I immediately looked at my residence and dropped down, and I didn't look up until DPS was here telling us that everything was going to be okay.
Yeah, this is, something's off with this. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. All right, you got a bad connection, guy. We're not going to be able to continue. I'm not going to take any calls till the radio show starts because we're just a couple of minutes away. So I'll play a little bit more of this because we don't have time to really have a conversation. Probably shouldn't have taken that call. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. So call us on hold, stand by.
Okay.
Do you have any sense of how long he was in the classroom shooting before he left?
It honestly felt like an eternity. So I don't know how long. Time just went.
Before I let you go, I know it was a blur, but I do want to ask you, do you have any memory of what the shooter looked like?
Here we go, finally.
I do not. I just remember the facts that I told the detectives, but I just want to make sure that they have the confidentiality when it comes to identifying the shooter. So
What was that? Hold on a second. What was that? He said confident. What?
but I just want to make sure that they have the confidentiality when it comes to.
I just want to make sure that they confidentially. All right, can you guys help me make this out? I'm having a hard time understanding this, but all of a sudden, the audio's not that great coming out of his mouth.
Just remember the facts that I told the detectives, but I just want to make sure that they have the confidentiality when it comes to identifying the shooter. So
he said, okay, they have it in. I just want to make sure officers act confidentially with identifying him. What the heck kind of thing is that to say? I don't. I just want to make sure officers act confidentially when identifying him. The guy almost murdered you. Don't you want him identified? I don't get it. I mean, because if they have an identity and they haven't apprehended him and he's on the run right now, he's on the loose, he's free, don't you want that information out? Oh, boy.
The facts that I told the detectives, but I just want to make sure that they have the confidentiality when it comes to identifying the shooter. So I have no information to that status at this point.
And did you actually see the gun? Do you have any idea what kind it was?
When he came in the room, we made direct eye contact.
Right.
So, yeah, I happened to see some things that I wish I didn't, but I just hope that it was for a reason and I'm able to help the detectives.
Yeah, well, we do too. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
We really appreciate you giving us nothing. I mean, that is really strange. I hope the officers act confidentially with identifying him. Have you ever heard anything even close to that when it comes to any type of mass shooting event? That's Mike at the radio station telling me what time we're going to be on. Okay. If you're on hold, stand by. That is very strange. You know, if someone tries to shoot me, I don't want the officers to be worry about confidentiality with them. I want them to find out what the heck is going on. Let's see here. Now we got a little bit of time. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Fuck you.
There we go. Yes. That's a good one to take before the radio starts. If you're on hold, hang in there. This end of the interview there is insane. That's completely insane, what he just said at the end. You know, this is the problem. You know, the universities aren't so concerned with educating people anymore. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to be on the radio soon. I'm going to have to recap, and I think I may go through this because this is really alarming. And, okay. We got about a minute till the radio show starts, so hold on. Let me stand by, guys. I got to get organized here. Okay. With the commercials that I have to do in the first hour. All right. Yeah, that's a very strange thing there. Okay, we got about 30 seconds till the radio show starts. The rest of you on hold, hang in there. We got to do a breakdown on this. This is very strange. 10 seconds. I'm gonna lead with this. Here we go. We are, well, here back on Monday morning. Caught me off guard, Mike. I lost track of time. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. I just uncovered something a moment ago. I'm going to go through this now. That is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard involving one of these god-awful mass shooting events. Now, we have multiple tragedies over the weekend. This was a difficult weekend. The Brown University, for those that are just waking up, the guy that they had detained in the Brown University shooting, they have released him. The white guy, they released him. So the shooter is still on the loose in the Brown University shooting. Of course, we have the attack in Syria, where we lost American service personnel. The Islamic terror attack in Australia, which was, oh boy, god-awful. And then, after all that, I wake up this morning. First thing I do when I wake up, I grab my iPhone and check what broke over the weekend. I wanted to find out specifically what the situation was with Brown, and the first thing I saw was that Rob Reiner and his wife had been murdered, stabbed to death in his home in Los Angeles, and the chief suspect, according to all media, allegedly is the son who has an addiction problem. And I will tell you this about Rob Reiner, a couple things about Rob Reiner. Liberal lunatic, no doubt he was a liberal lunatic. However, Rob Reiner was one of the, and I wonder if this is going to get any play in the news. Rob Reiner was one of the few liberals after the assassination of Charlie Kirk that acted like a decent human being, and I gained a lot of respect for him on that, even though he's was a liberal loon. And the other thing with Rob Reiner, I don't remember a time in my life that I didn't know about Rob Reiner, because when I was a little kid in the 70s, All in the Family, we had 3 channels, right? Just the networks. All in the Family was such a huge show, and of course he played Meathead. Rob Reiner was on that, and I don't remember a time in my life that I didn't know of Rob Reiner, and I never was a big fan of most of his directorial work, but I was. Misery is an awesome movie, and of course A Few Good Men is probably my favorite Rob Reiner movie. But that's just shocking to me, and it's sad too, especially if it's his son, and I can only imagine what he's gone through with his son. But he did act appropriately after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He did some interviews. I can't remember who interviewed him, where I saw him talking about it, but I remember I'm pretty sure I commented on it at the time that he was the only liberal out there, Rob Reiner, acting like a decent human and saying what you are supposed to say and a human would naturally, instinctively say after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, when all of these liberals around the country were blaming Charlie for his own assassination. And I gained a lot of respect for him over all the liberal lunacy of Rob Reiner, and that's just a real shocking. And I don't know how many of you know this. I know a lot of you do. But he's a Nepo baby in Hollywood because Carl Reiner is his father. But Rob Reiner, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? It's hard to believe. Rob Reiner and his wife. Okay, so I want to start, though, with Brown, because the Brown University shooting in Providence, I came across something just a few minutes ago, right before the radio show started in the pre-show that I do on YouTube. And after the first break, I'm going to go through this with you in detail, because this just blew my mind, and very strange thing I uncovered just a few moments ago. But I'm looking at the clock, and I don't have enough time to go through it properly before the break. So I will take this break on time, which I rarely do. And after the first break, I'm going to go through this, because this is completely insane. If you're on hold, stand by. If you have any comments on any of the weekend tragedies, while today is not Open Phone, Open MAGA Mike Friday, it is Monday. It is open phones in regards to the tragic incidents over the weekend, whether it's Brown University, Syria, the Islamic terrorist attack in Australia, or the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. It's open phones so far as that goes, right? If you have any comments on any of those things, you're welcome to call in throughout the day, because I know you guys, like me, are news junkies, and you've got a lot of information that you've absorbed watching the news, and maybe you have some pieces of the puzzle that I've missed and that others have missed, and we can kind of put together what's going on here. So after the break, I'm going to get into this thing I uncovered on the Brown University. I want to talk about Australia for a moment, and then we'll break, and then get into Brown University. 100% Islamic terror attack. That brave man who stopped the shooter, the terrorist, is not Muslim, as has been reported. He's Lebanese. He's a Christian. That is one of the bravest men I've ever seen in my freaking life. Okay, that guy, I don't know what the highest medal they have for civilians in Australia, like we have the Presidential Medal of Freedom, but that guy deserves it. Have you ever seen a man so brave as the one who tackled? It was a father and son Islamic terror team. And he went and not only did he risk his life and tackle the terrorist, he wrestled the rifle away from him. And boy, did that terrorist, that Islamic terrorist, that was the father, he got real cowardly real quick when the gun was pointed the other way. And, you know, these shootings, whether it's Brown or Australia, these are gun-free zones. They confiscated all the guns in Australia years ago. It's a gun-free zone. So these terrorists like this, when they have weapons, they feel invincible. Boy, but when that guy got a gun from the terrorist, you could see in his body language the terrorist was terrified. That I don't know if I have ever seen something like that happen in real life. That was like out of an action movie. And that guy is a great global hero taking on the jihadis there. But I got news for you. Jews, I mean, my goodness, pray for the Jews. Take the advice of Mayor Adams and leave New York before Mamdani comes in. You know, do you know what happened in Australia as part of the global intifada that Zohan won't condemn? He won't condemn the global intifada. What happened in Australia is a part of the global intifada. And I know Jews in this country that are scared, and they have good reason to be scared. You know, here in Florida, we have a large Jewish population, so there's a lot of Jewish schools around. You go by a Jewish school, there's cops out there, stationed there, for good reason. I mean, what is going on here? What is going on here? And I got a question for you. When it comes to, they've got a big problem in Australia with Muslim immigration. There's even a problem. I was reading a story over the weekend in Japan. There was a major demonstration among Japanese in Japan, of course, against the Islamification of Japan. They're making a move there. And, and of course, we've got the Somali issue here. And Laura Loomer has reported that the Brown University shooter, and she has reported this multiple times, even after the release of the guy they had in custody, that students said that they heard the gunman at Brown University shout Allah Akbar. She's reported that multiple times. And when Laura Loomer reports something, you can take it to the bank. It's the gospel. She's always right. So based on her reporting, this was an Islamic terror attack at Brown. We don't know yet, but according to Laura Loomer's reporting, it would be, right? So my question to you is this. Where has there been a wave of Islamic Muslim migration or immigration in this world where the country they immigrated from en masse was a better place, not a worse place after? Because it seems to me wherever they move, there's problems. Whether it's the theft in Minnesota, the Islamic terror attack in Australia, the son jihadi in Australia was born and raised in Australia. And of course, we know what's happened to Europe. So where have they migrated or immigrated in mass where the country was better off because of it? Because it seems the opposite is true in these instances. I mean, just look at what's going on out there. Okay, so we're going to take our first break of the week, and I'll come back with this thing I came across involving the Brown shooting in a few minutes. If you're on hold, hang in there. The number to call in is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We're 10 days from Christmas, still time to get the home free security system and free professional installation offer from Sloman's as a Christmas gift for your family. Now, you can get this as a Christmas gift for your family in the home in which you live, or a gift for yourself, but you can also get this incredible deal as a Christmas gift to your adult children, to your grandparents, to your parents. This is a great Christmas gift. Listen to this. Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. Locked in for 5 years at $24.95 a month. Unbelievable. The number is 833-283-5050. Give them a call right now, no matter where you are. 833-283-5050. Your Sloman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access. Great Christmas gift. Give them a call, toll free, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be right back. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
This is George Colony. I'm in the real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Kai's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You could call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number. And I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
Do you want healthier chickens, stronger immunity, and rich golden yolked eggs without relying on chemicals? Of course you do, but how do you do it, and where do you even begin? That's easy with the new book from author Mary Butler, The Herbal Hen House, Nurturing Your Chickens with Nature's Remedies, available on Amazon. Author Mary Butler is a devoted chicken keeper and herbal enthusiast who brings more than a decade of hands-on experience straight to your coop. The Herbal Hen House is a warm, practical guide that shows you how to use safe, effective herbs to support digestion, boost immunity, and improve egg quality, as well as help prevent common flock problems naturally. When you read The Herbal Hen House, you'll discover easy, beginner-friendly herbal remedies, simple DIY blends that you can make at home, as well as clear guidance on what's safe, what to avoid, and how to care for chickens at every stage of life, from chicks to senior hens. Whether you're raising your very first flock or have been tending chickens for years, The Herbal Hen House gives you the confidence to ditch those harsh chemicals and raise healthier, happier chickens the natural way. The Herbal Hen House, Nurturing Your Chickens with Natural Remedies, from author Mary Butler, is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Order your copy right now. Your chickens will thank you. Okay, we have less than a minute. We're still in break on the radio. Welcome. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Now, if you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. I'd appreciate that. If you're interested in advertising, you have a business or something you'd like to advertise, you can go to briancraigshow.com and send me an email there. I'm the only one who checks the emails that go through that, briancraigshow.com. If you're interested in advertising, send me an email there with your phone number and what you're interested in advertising. I'll call you. BrianCraigShow.com. Okay, we'll be back in just a moment. If you're on hold, stand by. We're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Brian. Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, this is Julian. Yeah, you know me. We spoke about paddleboarding a few times. And on Facebook, you said you were going to make a paddleboard stick. This was a while ago. But anyway, I just want to say, I don't know if you were going to say this, but the one guy, older guy in Australia, Jewish guy, he was a Holocaust survivor that I read.
Yes.
And also, I don't know if you're going to say this about Brown University, that guy shot a professor, a young lady of Jewish Israeli studies. I guess you were going to say that.
Yeah.
But I just
And there's two that I know of that have died. The Jewish professor and the head of the Republican Club. And there's not very many Republicans at Brown University. There's really not. It's hardcore left wing.
Wow.
Yeah, so the head of the Brown University Republican Club and the Israeli Studies Jewish professor. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but this is crazy. All Europe is now, like you've said, is ruined. Paris, London. This is crazy. I don't see how it's going to get better. And remember a while ago they burned that church down, the Catholic church. I think it was in Paris somewhere. I don't know where.
Well, I was reading this morning that that Australia has had a lot of Islamic terror attacks where they've attacked synagogues and such. There's been a lot of attacks in Australia against the Jews by the jihadis.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame. It's all over now. But that Australia Prime Minister, we're going to do something. They're not going to do anything. It's just unbelievable. I'm sick of hearing what people say. But anyway, listen, I want to wish you, Richie and Doug, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, okay?
All right, take care.
All right,
take care. All right, yes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Barnes from Birmingham, Alabama.
Hey, Birmingham, what's up?
All right. Until Cloward Pivot is ended and existing laws are enforced, nothing is going to change.
What do you? I don't understand what you're saying. Say that again. I didn't understand what point you're making.
Cloward Pivot strategy, and it's allowing this Islamification to take
This what
place
strategy?
all over the
The Cloward Pivot strategy. The Cloward Pivot strategy.
Yes.
The Cloward Pivot with this. In this country, no. The Cloward Pivot strategy is definitely, that's what they were using with the southern border to overrun the country, the Cloward Pivot strategy. But what's going on here is it's hardcore liberalism. Remember a few years ago, they had that major anti-Semitic attack in New Zealand, right? And then what happened? Yeah. They had this idiot prime minister who started wearing Muslim clothing, and then they played the Muslim call to prayer nationwide on New Zealand television and throughout the entire country, and as opposed to worried about the Jews who were being targeted. This isn't these instances aren't the Cloward Pivot strategy. This is just radical liberalism, and. The Cloward Pivot strategy. The Cloward Pivot strategy is overload the system so it collapses, and then they'll give us everything we want. It's
happening in Europe. It's happening in Australia.
Correct.
And I'll just say this: you get what you tolerate.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Now I wonder, every time someone who's MAGA does a rolling stop at a stop sign, the media go to President Trump to condemn it. Are they going to go to Mamdani every time there's an Islamic terror attack? We had two of them over the weekend, right? In Syria and in Australia. Brown is up in the air. Laura Loomer reporting the Brown shooter yelled out Allah Akbar, according to witnesses. So that could be one, too. Is Mamdani going to be asked to condemn all these jihadi attacks because he's Muslim? Since Donald Trump is responsible for every crime that a Republican may commit, certainly Mamdani should be asked to respond, right? All right, the rest of you on hold, stand by. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. Okay, now after the bottom of the hour break, I do promise you, this thing I uncovered, I'm going to share in its entirety, okay? After the bottom of the hour break. So if you're on hold, stand by. We're not taking the break yet, but when we get back from the bottom of the hour break, I'm going to get right into this thing. But I wanted to play, there's this one witness that's doing all these interviews, the teaching assistant, at Brown, the Brown shooter burst into his classroom while he was in front of the class lecturing, and he's been doing a lot of interviews.
Joseph Aduro was leading a study group when the gunman walked into his lecture hall. He told his story to ABC News Live anchor Whit Johnson. Take a listen.
We heard commotion outside the door of what sounded like students screaming and like the sound of gunshots, but none of our minds, at least my mind, I can't speak for everyone, but that's not the first thing you identify that sound with. We're at Brown University, which is an Ivy League institution. You assume that you're going to be safe. And around 5 seconds or so later, we see a gunman walk in on the left-hand side.
And he just barged into the classroom?
Yeah.
What did he say? What happened next?
I don't know what he said. I know he mumbled something, screamed something. I don't know exactly what was said, but he entered the room and you could just see the panic in all the students' eyes. I was standing in the front, so as soon as he walked in, he immediately saw me and I immediately saw him. And then I look to my right and I see a bunch of students running down the stairs, running out the door, jumping on the ground, just whatever it takes to stay alive.
Okay. Now, when we get back, this witness revealed something about the shooter, about the incident, that is unlike anything I have ever heard by an eyewitness in a mass shooting event. He looked the guy in the eyes, and he tells something that I'll share with you after the bottom of the hour break. Callers on hold, stand by. Do you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy? Call Lighthouse Medical in Pompano. Remember, Lighthouse Medical in Pompano can help you with your neuropathy no matter where you're located in the world. They can help you, okay? Their neuropathy treatment works. I've seen it work on Steve Kane and many of our listeners. And in Steve Kane's case, it's over 3.5 years now since his neuropathy treatment from Lighthouse Medical. Not only did they rid him of neuropathy, 3.5 years later, the symptoms have not returned. And you may have a spouse, a parent, a friend, a child that has neuropathy. You can take advantage of this too. Schedule the no-charge consultation for them and take them in there. You know, sufferers of neuropathy, a lot of times, you know, they're suffering so much they can't get in there, okay? They can't even think straight enough to make the phone call to make the appointment. The numbness, the pain, the burning, the tingling in the hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, falling down all the time, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet, no feeling at all. These are just god-awful and terrible and make life really unbearable. I remember what it was like for Steve Kane when he had all these symptoms. It was tough. I mean, it was really tough. But now he's got his life back because all these symptoms are gone. Give them a call. Make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta, and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I've brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations. What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Remember the first time the TARDIS doors swung open and your world got a little bigger? If you're a fan of the classic days of Doctor Who, the monsters, the mysteries, the wobbly sets, and the endless charm of the Doctor and his companions, then it's time to rediscover it all with The Whonies, a Doctor Who podcast, available on Amazon. Each episode breaks down one episode of Doctor Who, bringing back the nostalgia, the fun, and the magic that made you a fan in the first place. Whether you're a lifelong Whovian or just stepping back into time and space, The Whonies is your weekly trip through the universe of classic Doctor Who, one episode at a time. Relive the laughs, the lore, and the legacy with The Whonies, a Doctor Who podcast, now streaming on Spotify. Peptide research is exploding, and GLP-1 is leading the charge. Across the country, researchers are exploring metabolic, regenerative, and cellular repair models like never before. At MyPurePeptide.com, based in Dallas, Texas, they supply high-purity, lab-verified peptides for controlled research environments. Whether your work involves GLP-1 metabolic studies tied to weight and energy balance, cellular health and modulation models, or tissue repair pathways, MyPurePeptide.com is committed to supporting your research with clarity and consistency. Visit MyPurePeptide.com and use code DALLAS to save 25% on your order for research use only. MyPurePeptide.com.
All right, we are little less than a minute from being back from break on the radio. We're still in radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to go through this. If you were listening to me in the pre-show, you caught this at the end. I had seen this interview in clips, not the whole thing, until I played it all at once to you earlier. And he just dropped something it was very strange. But we'll play the whole thing. We got about 30 seconds. Rob Reiner was murdered, and his wife stabbed to death. And the lead suspect, as of now, is they say allegedly is the son. That's just, All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. I want to mention, I may talk more about this later. This has just been a weekend of death. Here locally, we lost one of our radio legends, Footy from Y100. Oh, my goodness. You know, when I was in middle school and high school, Sonny Fox and Footy, remember Athlete's Foot? He was the sports guy. Then eventually he took over the show. Both of them are no longer with us. But Footy died. Over the weekend, this news dropped, and, oh, man. Such a fan of those guys in high school. Those guys, Footy, Sonny Fox, Steve Kane, these are guys I used to listen to when I was in high school and middle school on the radio that made me want to get in radio, get in broadcasting. I wanted to be what they were. And I remember it was, I was very excited. I worked at a radio station down in Miami, and I felt like I've made it when this happened. I had to go to a meeting. It was some boring corporate garbage, but in that meeting was Footy. And I'm like, wow, I'm in a meeting with Footy. And it was just like not that many people in there. And I was like so impressed with myself that I'm in a meeting, a corporate boring meeting. I don't remember what it was about. It was a long time ago. It was with Paxson, when Paxson Communications was around, Bud Paxson. And Footy was there, and I was so excited. But Footy, the loss of Footy, and these South Florida radio legends from the 80s, the only one that is left on the air is Steve Kane. They're all gone. They're all gone except Steve. Steve is the last gunfighter, so to speak, right, in the West. And Footy was a great guy. I mean, I love, and I met him a few times, and he was really good. And I remember I was at a one of our sponsors years ago, and he was sitting at the table next to me, and I just had great conversation with him, and it's just sad. But they're all gone now, except Steve Kane. Steve Kane's the last one left of those radio legends of the 80s. It's really sad. It really is. All right, so let me get back to this. If you're on hold, hang in there, because I want to get to this. This Joseph Aduro, I played a clip of him from an interview before the break, but he did an extensive interview. That was with ABC. He did an extensive interview with Dana Bash on CNN. And I'd seen a clip or two of it this morning when I was doing show prep. And then I saw the whole interview, and I played an extended cut of the interview in the pre-show, and with this interview that this teaching assistant did. And he drops something towards the end of this clip I'm going to play that I have never, ever, ever heard from anyone who's a survivor of one of these mass shooting events. Now, before I share this clip with you, I want to say this again because it's important. Laura Loomer has reported again, even this morning, after the release of the person they had in custody in Rhode Island, that witnesses have said that they heard the shooter yell Allah Akbar. Okay? Laura Loomer has reported that multiple times, including after the release of the guy that they had in custody. All right? So anyway, here's the Dana Bash interview with the teaching assistant who's been doing all these interviews. Listen.
So you saw the gunman enter the room where you were?
Yeah, I was standing in the front of the auditorium, and he came through the back. So we pretty much directly made eye contact. And then as soon as that happened, I looked at my students and signaled them to come to the front, and then I just ducked.
And was the gunman...
Okay, now before I play the rest of this, this guy, he's been doing all these interviews. I understand the gunman was masked, and I understand that, he had gloves on and such. But you can tell a lot about someone. If he's got a mask on, you can still see his eyes. And this guy's been doing all of these interviews, and he's not giving us any characteristics that could be used to identify the Brown University shooter who's still on the loose since the person of interest they let go last night. Is he white? Is he black? Is he Hispanic? He yelled something. You say you can't remember, you couldn't understand what he said, but did you hear what tone of voice? Did he have an American accent? A foreign accent? Could you see around his eyes? Did you see his wrist? You were looking at the gun. Did you see his wrist? Could you see skin color with the wrist? Was he white? Was he Hispanic? Muslim? Did he have a New York accent? Did he have a Midwestern accent? None of these things. He's not giving us any information. Very few identifying characteristics, and Dana Bash doesn't seem interested in finding out, which kind of indicates that maybe she knows and is holding out.
The front, and then I just ducked.
And was the gunman shooting when he entered the room?
No, he came in, pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students know what he said. But yeah, then he just started shooting right after that. So from that moment to the first gunshot, it was probably around 5 to 7 seconds.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that you already had heard the gunshot outside the classroom, and then all of a sudden he appeared in your classroom, screamed something, and
we
then...
heard what sounded like gunshots outside, yes, but my mind didn't necessarily go to gunshots right away, just because we're at Brown University. It's an Ivy League institution. You don't really assume the first loud sound you hear is gunshots until you see the gun right in front of you and you can see it going on.
I can't even imagine how terrifying that was. You're the person in charge. You're the TA in the classroom helping these students study, and you look up and there is a man with a gun, and he started to shoot in the auditorium where you were leading the study session. I know it's probably a blur, but what unfolded from there?
And this is when you ask questions. Could you see his wrist when he was holding the gun? Was he wearing gloves? Did you see his hands? Did you see his neck? Did you see his eyes? Did you see his mouth? Did you see anything? that could indicate ethnicity: white, black, Hispanic, Islamic. Did you hear an accent? You say you can't understand what he said, but could you hear an accent? Maybe the reason you couldn't understand is because there was an accent. These are all questions you should ask.
As soon as he started shooting, I just wanted to make sure that the rest of the students and I were safe. And then from the time that transpired, I made sure to call 911 and DPS, and I tried to let them know the situation, but with it still being extremely fresh and it honestly feeling like super unreal, I couldn't really explain any real details other than that we were in the room of Ferris and Holly 166, and I was with around 20 students hiding behind that desk. So it was mostly just mumbling, trying to get as much help as I can.
Around 20 students behind one desk. Can you describe the sort of physical layout of where you were a little bit more?
Yeah, so the desk is probably...
I mean, she's more interested in a description of the desk than she is a description of the shooter. By the way, we've seen this video of him walking down the sidewalk. Is that him? Is that the guy that was shooting at you that you've seen in this video? Because you can see what he looked like. You can see his stance. None of these questions are being asked.
10 feet or so, and we all just hid behind it as best as we could. There wasn't too much space, but we made do because at the end of the day, we just all wanted to survive.
And was he shooting towards you?
He was shooting. The first couple gunshots went straight to the chalkboard, exactly where I was standing. So who knows, if I didn't duck, maybe I'm not here today. That's something we don't know.
Did it appear indiscriminate, or did it appear that he was looking for somebody?
That part, I'm not too sure. As soon as I locked eyes with him and his gun, I immediately looked at my residence and dropped down, and I didn't look up until DPS was here telling us that everything was going to be okay.
Do you have any sense of how long he was in the classroom shooting before he left?
It honestly felt like an eternity. So I don't know how long. Time just went.
Before I let you go, I know it was a blur, but I do want to ask you, do you have any memory of what the shooter looked like?
I do not. I just remember the facts that I told the detectives, but I just want to make sure that they have the confidentiality when it comes to identifying the shooter. So
you hear that? Okay, now this is the part I came across that's not being played in the sound bites. She asked him if he could recall what he looked like. And by the way, we got that video of him walking down the sidewalk, so you got something to match it up. Is that him? Does it look like him? Is that what he was wearing? And then this guy who say he locked eyes with the shooter says, I just want to make sure officers act confidentially when identifying him. I just want to make sure officers act confidentially with identifying him. Why would you want the privacy of this murderer be honored? What have you ever heard in a mass shooting event a survivor wanting to keep the identity of the shooter confidential? By the way, right now you want to be shouting any information you have at the top of your lungs. You can recognize people by so many different characteristics: their clothes, their stance, their shoes. I've never heard a survivor of an incident. Let me rewind it and then we'll play the rest of it. This is crazy talk. I've never heard something so liberally, politically correct from a victim at a mass shooting event before. Have you?
Memory of what the shooter looked like?
I do not. I just remember the facts that I told the detectives, but I just want to make sure that they have the confidentiality when it comes to identifying the shooter. So I have no information to that status at this point.
And did you actually see the gun? Do you have any idea what kind it was?
When he came in the room, we made direct eye contact.
Right there, made direct eye contact. So you can tell a lot about a person from their eyes, like their ethnicity, their skin color.
So, yeah, I happened to see some things that I wish I didn't, but I just hope that it was for a reason and I'm able to help the detectives.
Yeah, well, we do too. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Oh, boy. Did you see his wrist? Tell a lot. Are you or someone you know in pain? Then go see Dr. Appleton. Man, it was a cold morning today. Before Dr. Appleton rid me of pain, this would have been one of those mornings I would have been aching. My arthritis that Dr. Appleton rid me of, this would have been a god-awful day with my arthritis pain. The cold? Oh, boy. Dr. Appleton's laser away pain treatment works. There's no surgery. That's right, no cutting, no surgery, no drugs, no injections. You ever know these people every so often they go and get some massive injection for pain? First off, who wants to be on drugs, right? Not me. But when you do something like that, you're not fixing the problem like Dr. Appleton does with the robotic laser. You go get those shots for pain, however often you do it, you're just masking the pain. So whatever is causing that pain is still there, and you might be making it worse. Dr. Appleton with his robotic laser actually repairs the damage that's causing you the pain. Works on every type of pain I've ever heard of: arthritis, bronchial neuralgia, bursitis, hip pain, knee pain, lumbar pain, muscular contraction, sciatica, strains and sprains, tinnitus, tennis elbow, neck pain, stenosis. That is a very incomplete list. Say bye-bye to your pain. Remember, appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome. And the consultation with Dr. Appleton is free. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code CANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code CANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code CANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping. In a world where gifts are predictable and mugs are just mugs, one Etsy shop dares to be legendary. From epic movie poster mugs to face-melting rock and roll mugs to Christmas mugs so festive they may cause spontaneous jingling. This holiday season, unleash the perfect gift for the fan, the collector, the caffeine addict, or the person who simply deserves something awesome. Don't just give a mug, give a moment, give a masterpiece. Visit the Etsy store, loveitlistings.etsy.com. before the credits roll. That's loveitlistings.etsy.com. Loveitlistings.etsy.com. Start shopping right now. How would you like to make your child's Christmas unforgettable? You can do just that with Santa Voice. With Santa Voice, you generate a personal message from Santa. It's fast, fun, and magical. Just search Santa Voice in the App Store. That's Santa Voice in the App Store. All right, we'll be back in a little more than a minute. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to wait till we get back to take calls. All right? Let me double check here. Okay. I'll try to take them to the best of my ability in the order in which they were received. Let me ask you guys, what do you make of this guy? He couldn't understand what he said. No information. Her interviewing, by the way, Dana Bash, is just awful. Awful. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go right to the phones when we get back. Let me check. I think we have 1 minute till we're back. Let me double check. Yep, 1 minute and we'll be back. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, the Bible verse, my pillows are awesome. Absolutely they are. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. If you're on hold, stand by. And I want to say today is not open phones. However, it is open phones in relation to the tragedies of the weekend, okay? And that would be, of course, Brown University, Australia, Syria, and the murder of Reiner and his wife. And I'll throw in Footy from Y100 because that one... I really didn't know him. I met him a couple times. That's it. But, man, was I a fan of Footy. Footy and Sonny Fox. They were the best. I used to call their shows all the time when I was in high school and middle school. I remember they did this thing. They wanted you to call from the shower. So I turned my sink on in the kitchen and tried to make it sound like the shower to sing while I called in. And I remember Sonny Fox and Footy said, "You're not in the shower," and they hung up on me. That's just like that. Boom. It was just like that. Oh, my goodness. But he passed away, too, over the weekend that came out. All right. I'm going to go right to the phones, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Sandra calling from Indiana.
Hey, Sandra.
And I'm calling about this situation. For one, this interview sounds scripted with the answers and the questions.
Before you move on to the second point, I want to tell you, you're not the only person who's made that comment. I've seen that comment made many times about this guy that it seems scripted.
Okay. And he seems too calm. Why is he wearing a hoodie? You can't tell me that none of those children in that classroom or he did not know what Allah Akbar meant. And also, when Ilhar Omar does her speeches in Somalian, I feel she is giving subliminal messages because it's funny, all of these attacks with the Muslims.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. But, Hanukkah just started, right? Hanukkah.
True.
So, that's the... That's the timing element is Hanukkah, which, by the way, Steve Kane has told me for years, and I've heard this from others as well, that Hanukkah is actually a minor Jewish holiday that gets overblown because it's around Christmas time, so the Jewish kids don't feel left out, is what Steve's always told me. I don't know. But it's because of Hanukkah.
Right. But I still question her speeches when she gives them in her native tongue.
All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. All right. You're on the... I question what she says in English, okay? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Rabbi David. How are you?
Oh, hey, Rabbi. Good to hear from you on this tragic time.
Brown.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So we'll start with Brown. That interview was very interesting that you played. At the very beginning, when he says, the guy mumbled something, okay, which first of all, what do you mean mumbled something? You didn't hear what he said, but okay,
Yeah.
we'll put that aside. He then said, I couldn't understand what he said. And then if you listen to it, he actually says, Allah Ek, and he stops himself.
Really? Hold on,
Maybe I'm reading
Rabbi.
into it.
Let me put you on hold while I answer some calls. But wait a minute. At the beginning of the Dana Bash interview, he says that.
The one you just played. It was. He's saying. He says at the very beginning. He says, I couldn't hear the words. It was mumbled, but after he said mumbled, he said, I couldn't hear the words because it was. And then he don't say Allah. And then he stops himself. Maybe he was trying to say something else.
I'll go
Maybe
back and listen to it. I'll play it
said.
again in a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah. So play that again. It's a little piece at the beginning, and I'm like, what was he just about to say? And again, maybe I'm reading into it, but it was there, And regarding Bondi, what a tragedy. My daughter-in-law is Australian. Her sister and her husband and 3 children were on the beach.
Oh.
And the husband was shot in the back.
Oh.
He survived and he's okay. But it's the fact that even more, it was children. They were all, every parent was worried about their children. They were they were running around different places.
Let me ask you, Rabbi. Let me ask you. This rise of anti-Semitism, but this is jihadi. Why do they hate Jews so much? What's going through the mind of this father and son when they take guns out and just shoot Jews on a beach, families and stuff? Really, what is the? I know you can't I'm not asking you to rationalize their justifications, but I know you've dealt with a lot of this. What do they tell themselves they're doing? What is their grievance with the Jews?
I think that because it was a father and son, I think it really tells us a lot more than these lone wolves that everybody always says. Okay, they always say it's lone wolves.
Yeah.
It's never a lone wolf. It's embedded in the family. It's breeded in the family. It's taught in the family. Okay, so this time we finally got to see a father and son going out together. This is what a parent's teaching a child. Okay, this was really emblematic of what's going on. A father and a son, and I think that goes to the root of it. That it's being taught in the house.
Yeah,
this is what's being taught. And how do you stop that? How do you stop? You can't go into everybody's house and teach them. And by the way, what mosque were they praying at? Okay, they must go to a mosque someplace in Australia where they investigate what's going on there, because it's obviously stuff that's this is what was going on in Gaza and every place else.
I got to tell you, a lot of my Jewish friends are terrified of being even in this country as a Jew now. We've had this rise of anti-Semitism. You see these incidents that are happening. And, of course, Mamdani in New York. This is, to me, this is like how the Holocaust began, the early days of how that started.
Yeah, well, look, now we have at least the Israel Defense Forces to somehow do some things for us throughout the world.
Not on the beach in Australia.
Go into my... No, I know. They won't even allow the relative that was shot in the back. He was in Florida a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about how in Australia there are no guns you can't carry, you can't buy, you can't have. Okay, and that was one of the problems. How do you have 35 shots shot off without anybody being able to just go to their waistband and shoot back?
Well, even so, though, at the beach, I know in Israel might be different, but if I was in the beach here in Florida, I don't know. If people got guns at the beach in Florida, I don't know. Because you're not wearing a lot of clothes.
People didn't even have their phones on them because they were at the beach. They put it in a bag somewhere. They didn't even bring their.
But
phone.
that Lebanese guy, man, that's the brave. That's the guy that took down the dad jihadis. The bravest man I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was a bare hands, no gun, nothing, just running over. And by the way, it shows how cowardice these people are. That guy with the rifle. All of a sudden, he got very cowardly real quick, and and he wasn't the target, and it was or anything else. That was like right out of a John Wayne movie. What that guy did. And I'll tell you, the scary thing is once he took the gun away from the guy, he realized, even when he was holding that gun, that he was now a target. That the police might shoot at him.
And if he if he would have shot the terrorist, that hero would be in jail right now in Australia. You know that, right?
Right.
I'm not kidding.
No, you're correct, and
Yes.
I feared for his life that the police, as I just said, that the police would shoot
Listen,
him.
Rabbi, I'm out of time, but you're welcome to call back again today and every day as news breaks. Okay, call back later if you want. You get the golden ticket.
God bless you.
All right,
Thanks
take
a lot.
care.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, let me play this because Rabbi David said this is our top of the hour break on the radio. So let's go through this. Does he say? He said he heard him say and then stopped himself. So let's listen.
So you saw the gunman enter the room where you were.
See if we hear what the rabbi heard.
Yeah, I was standing in the front of the auditorium, and he came through the back. So we pretty much directly made eye contact, and then as soon as that happened, I looked at my students and signaled them to come to the front, and then I just ducked.
And was the gunman shooting when he entered the room?
No, he came in, pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said. And
Oh yeah, right there. I think this is the part, Rabbi David. Let me go back. He started to say. Does he start to say something and then stop himself? Listen.
Pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know.
Yeah, screamed something, and then he stopped. Yeah, Rabbi David's right.
Something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students know.
Yeah. Okay. I'll play that again when we get back. Did you guys hear that? I'll play it again on the radio when we get back. Yeah, Rabbi David's call's good. I wish I would have gotten him earlier. Okay. Oh, man. If you're on hold, stand by.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I've brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations. What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
This is George Colony. I'm in a real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Kai's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You could call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number. And I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We have seconds left, and we'll be back on the air. Okay, 10 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Hour number 2 has begun. It's Monday. A lot of tragedy going on, and we're covering it all. Rabbi David called in with the teaching assistant interview on CNN with Dana Bash. Now, Laura Loomer has been reporting all weekend and again this morning after the release of the Brown University shooting suspect that witnesses heard him say Allah Akbar. This young man with the hoodie, the teaching assistant says he couldn't understand what he said. Rabbi David said he started to say maybe Allah Akbar, then he caught himself in the Bash interview on CNN. And I went back during the break and listened to it. And I'm going to play it to you guys, and I'll tell you where the part is, and let me know what you hear.
So you saw the gunman enter the room where you were?
Yeah, I was standing in the front of the auditorium, and he came through the back. So we pretty much directly made eye contact, and then as soon as that happened, I looked at my students and signaled them to come to the front, and then I just ducked.
And was the gunman shooting when he entered the room?
No, he came in, pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said.
Okay, that right there. See, there was little pause. Did he start to say and then stop himself? This is the teaching assistant.
Pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said.
See, there you go. I don't know. Well, all right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, crazy times, crazy weekend.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I guess a little side note, just want to say real quick, I saw Home Alone 2 this weekend, and, you know, they had the view of the World Trade Centers. And I'm thinking, I know it's the holidays, and I'm like, every time anyone sees these movies where the World Trade Centers are still there and what happened and the results, especially in New York, they want to be pissed.
Oh, yeah.
And not hear about, you know, they ask us if you see anything suspicious, report it, but then you're afraid you might get politically corrected or sued by some imam praying group.
Yeah.
And you have this, so I seriously hope everyone gets off the political horse, thanks to the liberals, and take Mayor Adams' heed, especially in New York, and give them a warning. Well, you already gave them a warning, but take it serious and do more to just not let these people ramp free.
Yep.
You know, these incidents are going to mount up. And just like you said, as soon as, you know, they thrive off fear.
Yep.
Thank you, liberals, for the gun regulations. And but the minute you stand up, they clam up, just like in Australia. So, you know, stand your ground and, you know, open your ears and your eyes, people. Forget about politics and Democrat and Republican. This is serious. This is life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, this eyewitness that's doing all these interviews, just like these press conferences. I've been watching these press conferences out of Providence with the police chief that likes to do press conferences in Spanish. I mean, what the heck's that all about? They're giving no information, including the eyewitness. You know, they locked eyes. You can tell someone's ethnicity and skin color by their eyes. Even if you didn't understand what he said, you could tell if he had an accent. Did he see his wrist? We might have been wearing gloves. Did you see his wrist? Did you see his ears? I mean, you're giving no information out here.
Well, I'm glad you have pointed that out, because you're right. There's probably a dozen more identification, you know, Mark, that could have been made, like you said. So I'll observe. I know it was a stressful moment, but that I agree with everything, especially that, like the staging, the calmness, and everything. Come on. Yeah, we're in trouble, people. Oh,
and Dana Bash is more interested in a description of the desk that he was hiding behind than the shooter, who, by the way, is on the loose, because that guy they detained, they let go. They said it wasn't the guy. And, you know, she didn't even ask him if he matches the guy in the surveillance video clip that they've shown.
Oh, yeah, don't get me started on her, on Dana Bash. But, yeah, no, these are serious times. And then, like you said, this time of year, but, you know, I don't understand this all, and there's time out for that. That's why I see some party line stuff. We really have to get this together. as a community
For sure.
country. Well, this is international. So, you know, there really needs to be this all-out push against what they teach, what they train, what they stand for, and what their Quran says and all their different laws, and it doesn't make sense. And this can't go on in this country.
I find it at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, we've got a gunman on the loose. So out of all of the incidents, this is the one that's the most troublesome right now, because we've got the shooter on the loose in America. They don't have him. They say this. And they're not releasing videos or images from around the campus. They say this campus has more cameras on it than any other campus in the country, that it's something they brag about. And you saw the mayor, when that mayor came out, the first time I saw the Providence mayor, I didn't know if it was a man or a woman or someone transitioning. Okay, I'm not kidding. And then the police chief starts doing the press conference in Spanish. I've seen him do twice already in Providence, Rhode Island. I mean, what the heck's going on here? They know more, but they're so liberally politically correct, they're withholding information so that they don't sound like a bigot or something in their liberal minds.
Isn't that amazing? And just like that interviewer or interviewee, you know, he's talking about confidentiality. Come on, I hope he's talking about himself and wanting to stay under the radar and not be targeted because he's giving out whatever little information.
He's doing interviews on national television, multiple interviews, so he's not worried about being confidential, or he wouldn't be doing the interviews, right?
Exactly. Amazing.
All right. Thanks for the call. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
You know, as a young boy, I used to love monster movies. I used to see like Frankenstein, and I watched how they created Frankenstein, and then Frankenstein went crazy, and he started attacking everybody. That was the basic story. This country, our beautiful land, because of our sympathy and crazy politicians, have invited the fox into the chicken coop.
Hen house. Hold on a second. I'm going to answer all these lines coming in. No, you're right, Richie.
Yeah, because if you take a look at it, I'm going to say this, and I want people to think, okay? The World Trade Center, everything has to do with the same thing. The major in Fort Hood that was killed, the two soldiers in Washington, D.C., October 7th in Israel, the marches the marches that went on in the streets of New York and Columbia University, the harassment of Jewish students. I want you to just take a look at all of this, and it all comes down to one thing. And by the way, they've announced it to our country that they're going to take over.
That's right.
Crazy. They said it. They actually said it. Their imams have said, and there's nothing we can do about it, and they're laughing in our face because we have said that I believe that we can't discriminate for religious purposes.
Yep.
And everybody that says anything is called an Islamophobic. Let me tell you, Brian, you said the Jews should be afraid in this country. I hate to say this. First the Jews, then the Christians. Where are we actually safe? This is a ticking time bomb. They let all these people, barbaric people in that want to kill people that aren't Muslim into this country. And by the way, they want to kill their own Muslims if they don't believe in what they believe in.
Yeah.
This is a barbaric. I don't understand. And listen, he probably did yell out in Brown University. Regardless, you could see this all over the world. They can't even have Christmas shows in Europe because they're afraid of bombs. I mean, this is crazy. This from Islamic terrorists. They're all over the place. You're not safe anywhere in this country.
Nope.
Lebanon was Christian. Remember, Lebanon was a Christian country in the Middle East. Now, they were thrown out of there. That Brigitte woman, she's right. And they call her an Islamophobic. I mean, it's totally crazy. We're so lenient to these people, and the only one that's standing up to them is President Trump, and they call him a bigot and a racist.
That's right.
This is so disgusting.
Yeah, you're right.
This is so disgusting. I'm
all right,
sorry.
Richie, I got to run. I got to run for the break, but take care. All right, the rest of you on hold, stand by. Another great Christmas gift are new tires from Friendly Tire in Margate. Man, you could buy a couple people 4 new tires with these incredibly low prices on new tires. Friendly Tire in Margate, you can get brand new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And I want to highlight that is for common sizes on some of the most popular vehicles on the road today. As low as $75 a tire out the door and on the road for new tires, not used, new tires. And when I say out the door and on the road, what I mean by that is Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tire. As low as $75 a tire, brand new, out the door on the road. He has all the name brands you know and love as well. He can get tires for any size vehicle. Give him a call. And you can get good used tires for as low as $35 a tire, and that's out the door and on the road too. He also does tire repairs. Give Friendly Tire a call. Mike will give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. Call us on hold. Stand by. Back after this. All right, now Rabbi David messaged me when I was talking to Richie. He said, play a little further and listen a little further. Okay, so I rewound it. We'll listen to it during the break.
Was the gunman shooting when he entered the room?
No, he came in, pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students know what he said, but yeah, then he just started shooting right after that. So from that moment to the first gunshot, it was probably around 5 to 7 seconds.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that you already had heard the gunshot outside the classroom, and then all of a sudden he appeared in your classroom, screamed something, and
we heard what sounded like gunshots outside, yes, but my mind didn't necessarily go to gunshots right away just because we're at Brown University.
I know, it sounds like a little bit of the to me, when he says that. If you're on hold, stand by. When we get back, I will go back to the phones, and we got so much to cover, all right? The number is 888-465-2631.
How would you like to make your child's Christmas unforgettable? You can do just that with Santa Voice. With Santa Voice, you generate a personal message from Santa. It's fast, fun, and magical. Just search Santa Voice in the App Store. That's Santa Voice in the App Store.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Do you ever wish you could step back into the greatest decade of all time, the 80s? You're not alone. That's when members-only jackets made you cool, parachute pants swished with every move, when leg warmers, big hair, and neon ruled, and your Walkman, Atari 2600, and Rubik's Cube were your most prized possessions? If you missed the A-Team, Knight Rider, breakdancing, hair metal, arcades, and that unmistakable new wave sound, you're not alone. Welcome to WeLoveThe80s.com. The community built by people who still believe the 80s were hands down the most iconic decade ever. At WeLoveThe80s.com, they celebrate everything that made the 80s unforgettable. The music, the movies, the fashion, the video games, the attitude, and of course, the memories that shaped a generation. If the 80s live in your heart, relive them with WeLoveThe80s.com. That's WeLoveTheeights.com. Go right now to WeLoveThe80s.com and take your place among the totally awesome.
All right, we still have a little bit of time, a little over a minute till we're back. We're in radio station break still, but here's the president on board Air Force One talking about the Australian incident.
Is there any use at all in pressuring Israel now to come to some sort of longer-term solution?
Well, you could make the case that you're rewarding people, that, you're rewarding Hamas if you do that. And I don't think they should be rewarded. So I'm not in that camp, to be honest. We'll let you know where we are in, but I am not in that camp.
Mr. President,
because if you do that, you really are rewarding Hamas, and I'm not about to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's makes some good points. It's almost like this reporter's like, well, he's like speaking for the terrorist, that reporter. I mean, this is just insane to me, this whole thing. Here's the mayor.
Shortly, we will be releasing the person of interest who had been detained earlier today.
Oh, my goodness.
And the Attorney General can speak a little bit about the rationale for that. But we want to inform the community that that individual will shortly be released from Providence Police.
Yeah, I mean, it shows they have no clue of anything, and they're still not releasing video or images. We're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Pete from the Pacific Northwest. In the last 25 minutes, have you been able to figure out what that victim eyewitness is?
I played it a couple times. It sounds like he starts to say and then caught himself. I played it a couple times, but.
All right. Well, I heard it right off the bat. I believe.
Yeah.
I think he was using 6-syllable words. I think he was trying to say confidentiality or confidential or confidentially, and whatever he said next, I think the meaning is he wants the police to keep the guy's name out of it or the description or something. I think he believes that the police should not release the information.
It's hard to say what he means, but I'll tell you, he's got more information that he's given in these interviews because he observed it, and we're getting nothing out of him.
I agree, Brian. Totally.
And it's really upsetting. You have these reporters. These are national reporters on major national, and in CNN's case, a global outlet, and they're not asking basic questions. She didn't even ask him if he matches the guy we're seeing in this sidewalk video they keep showing us. She didn't even ask him that.
No kidding. I mean, there you go. Just show him. Is that the guy? Yes or no? There it is.
And there's no way that people that know that guy don't recognize him. I mean, I've looked at that video so many times. He's very distinctive by his stance, his walk, his swagger, everything. Whoever knows this guy, they know who he is if they see that video.
Yeah, well, this just happened a couple of weeks ago when they accused that girl of being the pipe bomber, and it turns out it's a guy, and we don't even know if it's the guy.
Mm. Yeah, well, they identified him. One of the things they used was his shoes.
Right, but remember it was the girl? She was a cop?
No, I never went with that story. Gateway Pundit did. I never covered that because there wasn't enough there, and they were wrong.
I agree. Hey, just on a side note, I retired from this business about 10 years ago. None of this ever happened. The only thing that ever happened to me on the air was the 9/11 thing, and that was bad enough. But what you're going through, my hat's off to you, pal. You're doing a great job. You got the right... I mean, you're just built for this, man, and I'm so happy for you. You have a good day, pal.
All right, take care. Take care. I can take a compliment sometimes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
I'll say this, Brian. The rabbi has a very good ear. Mm-hmm. And not to go through it all, but he 100% says Allah.
Yeah, I'll play it again after we talk.
I got you. I'll tell you exactly where.
Yeah, tell me where.
When he says none of the other students know what he said.
Okay.
None of the other students know what he said. Just before that, and it's very quick, he says Allah. And it's basically, he says he came in, he pointed the gun, and then he screamed something, and I don't know what he said, and Allah, none of the other students know what he said. So it's just before none of the other students.
Right before none of the other. Okay, so when he says none of the other students, I'll stop it there, and then we'll go back. But I'll play it again coming up. Okay. We'll go through it.
Back up a second, and you'll hear it. And, listen, I believe this guy, I mean, it's pretty obvious from the words when he said, I want them to act confidentiality, or whatever the hell the kid says. I believe he says, what's he going to scream? Merry Christmas? I just think it's what happened in Australia, and it's just crazy.
What do you think's going? What do you think's going on? Hold on, let me answer all these lines that are coming in because I'm getting a lot of calls. What do you think's going on with this teaching assistant? Is he covering for the guy? What do you think's happening? Oh, hold on. No, hold on. I got the lines mixed. Okay, JJ, do you think this teaching assistant is covering? What do you think's going on?
Yeah, I think he is, Brian. I think he's
out of his out of liberal guilt. Can't say white liberal guilt.
Well, maybe he feels he owes something for not getting shot, but I think the guy screamed. I don't know what he screamed. Now listen, there is a possibility that this kid completely shut down, like everybody, maybe everybody else in there. Nobody heard what the hell. But I just think about myself. When something like that happens, everything in my body is going to spike, and I'm going to remember everything. So maybe this guy operates different than, I think that's the way most normal people are, but some do shut down. Maybe this guy shut down, but, he says confidential, I want the police to act a certain way. So I believe he knows 100%. And he also said, when he said the statement that bothered me the most was he said, none of the other students know what he said. I mean, how the hell would he know that?
Exactly.
Did they all get together and have a cup of tea?
So I'm going to play it again after the next break. So you say after he says right before when he says right before when he says none of the other students. That's when he says it.
Know what he said.
Okay.
Just for it's like a split second, just before the word none. None of the other students know what he said. Anyway,
absolutely. No, we'll play it after the break. All right, take care, JJ. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Mike from Massapequa.
Hey, Mike.
Listen, I don't know if it's significant, but you understand this black guy who was the teacher's assistant, he was acting in the role of the professor. It was a review session. The professor wasn't there.
Yep.
The professor was the head of the Judaic Studies department.
In that lecture room.
Well, they were reviewing. She was the economics professor.
Well, hold on. Slow down. I want to get this straight. Okay. See, this is a developing story, guys. So a lot's going to come out. The two victims who lost their lives at Brown, one is the head of the Republican Club. The other is a Jewish professor who taught the Israeli class, right? Was this her classroom that he's a teacher assistant in? Is that what you're saying? I haven't heard that.
See, maybe I got some information that was confused.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
true. I read that this was the classroom. It was an economics class that was taught by the Judaic Studies head, and that she wasn't there because it was a review class.
Okay.
So this black guy was the teacher's assistant. So could it be possible he came in there looking for the head of Judaic Studies, saw she wasn't there,
entirely possible.
Shout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very possible. All right, good point. I'll look into that. Thanks for the info. All right, now listen, we're going to take a break. When we get back, I'll play the portion of the interview from CNN that the rabbi brought to our attention, that JJ from Mass told us the spot where to listen, so I'm going to do that. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Oh, man, I can't wait. Holiday time is here. You got holiday parties, you got Hanukkah going on, you got Christmas, you got New Year's, and I don't know, any of you do Kwanzaa? Is that still a thing? You got your New Year's party. You want to look great. Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I 11 months ago I went to them. I lost over 35 pounds, lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks. I lost just about a pound a day without any exercise, without starving myself, eating foods I would normally eat, and not taking prescription or injections. Okay, and I keep seeing. I told you guys on Friday to go look at Kelly Osbourne. Have you seen Kelly Osbourne? Woo! You don't even recognize her, do you? You don't want to look like that. You want to look good. You want to look natural. You want to look like yourself, and you don't want to look sick like I see these Hollywood people looking all the time. I look great. I look natural. I lost over 35 pounds. Keeping it off has been effortless. Give Coach to Weight Loss Secret a call. They can help you lose weight no matter where you are located in the world. Here's the number. Call and set up your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to play it during the break. So JJ said it's right before he says none of the other students understood what he said either. So I'll start it from the beginning, and then we'll get to that part.
So you saw the gunman enter the room where you were?
Yeah, I was standing in the front of the auditorium, and he came through the back. So we pretty much directly made eye contact, and then as soon as that happened, I looked at my students and signaled them to come to the front, and then I just ducked.
And was the gunman shooting when he entered the room?
No, he came in, pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students know what he said. But
oh, I heard it. Allah. It sounded okay. Let's go back.
And none of the other students.
There it was. Yeah, let's go back a little bit more.
And then he screamed something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students.
Allah. Did you hear it? Allah. He said Allah. Rabbi David does have good ears. Holy smokes. I'm going to play that when we get back on the radio. Okay, we're in a radio break for a couple of more minutes. Okay. Wow. Rabbi David's got the ears. Definitely going to play that. Now, guys, if you'd like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you get commercial-free editions of all my podcast episodes, access to Patreon-exclusive live streams that you have to catch live. And they're a troll-free chat room. It's a live stream just like here on YouTube. Actually, on Saturday, I had a Patreon-only live stream, but you had to be live to catch it. You know, so get those notifications. But there's a link to my Patreon page in the description of the episode if you'd like to support my content. Okay. Got about 90 seconds. We'll be back. About. If you're on hold, stand by. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to definitely play that when we get back. Holy smokes. That is unbelievable. Yeah, I heard it that time. So we'll be back in 45 seconds. 45 seconds. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. Oh, my goodness. 30 seconds, actually, now. Here we go. All right, we're back, and I got to tell you, Rabbi David has the best ears I've ever heard. I mean, now JJ from Mass called in and gave us the timestamp, so I'm going to play this. Now, if you're just tuning in, let me catch up to speed. If you're on hold, stand by, and then I'm going to play the audio. And I've got the timestamp, so I'll play to that point and then tell you. A teacher's assistant has been doing all kinds of national interviews. This is Dana Bash interviewing him on CNN, although I've seen him on CBS, and he's been viral on the internet. And he says crazy things. Laura Loomer has been reporting since yesterday, and she reported it multiple times, including early this morning, late last night, after the release of the guy they had in custody, that witnesses said that the shooter at Brown University yelled Allah Akbar. Okay? This is the teaching assistant, and he tells the story. And he says he couldn't understand what he was saying. Rabbi David called in and said it sounded like he said Allah and then stopped himself. And JJ from Mass called in before the bottom of the hour break and told me where in the tape he heard it, and I heard it. So let me play it, and then after we get to that part, I'll tell you. So here we go. If you're on hold, hang in there.
So you saw the gunman enter the room where you were?
Yeah, I was standing in the front of the auditorium, and he came through the back. So we pretty much directly made eye contact. And then as soon as that happened, I looked at my students and signaled them to come to the front, and then I just ducked.
And was the gunman shooting when he entered the room?
No, he came in, pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students know what he said. But
okay, that was it. Did you hear Allah? Allah? I heard it. Let me rewind just to this part. Allah, I heard it. Listen.
And pointed the gun, and then he screamed something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students know what he said. But
did you hear it? He said Allah, and then he stopped himself. And then he said none of the other students.
Something. I don't know what he said, and none of the other students know what he said. But
oh boy. What do you think? All right. 888-465-2631 is our number. It's a toll-free call. Wow. Does Rabbi David have great ears or what? 888-465-2631. Well, I imagine that if with everything that's going on against Jews right now in the world, that Jews have heightened senses, which would include hearing. Holy smokes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, how you doing, buddy? This is Mike from New York. Can you hear me?
I can, Mike.
All right, I want to tell you, if the Brown University shooter yelled MAGA country, I guarantee you we would know every detail about this guy's life in about 5 minutes.
Oh, yes.
24/7 news, everything about this guy's life. There's 800 cameras on campus. They released one picture of the back of the guy's head with a hoodie.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I think the teacher sounds a little scared a little bit, and he doesn't want to say he's black.
Well, if he's scared, why is he doing national interviews showing his face? I wouldn't do interviews while the guy's on the loose myself, but
No, you're 100% true. But you got to remember the Brown students are 80% identify as liberals. I looked it up. It said 13 identify, I said, as Indians, and then 9% identify as 6% GOP. So 99% of the facilities, the people that work there, are Democrats. 99% of the teachers. So how do you know how they think? They're nuts. I just think the guy doesn't want to, he doesn't want to say Allah Akbar. Everybody heard him say it. He's obviously said it. I read Laura Loomer. She's great. And he didn't want to say Allah Akbar because he would be fired probably the next day. Or he would have to go on suspension.
For telling the truth when they're looking for a wanted man for telling the truth, exactly. Yes.
And one more thing, you're the only station in the world almost that's even talking about this. I'm watching like 20 TVs at the gym right now. They're not even talking about what happened at Brown University. It was on for like a little while yesterday, if that was all.
Yeah, well, they're covering Australia, and I understand Australia is god-awful in news, but we've got a guy on the loose in America. That's more important in the American media right now.
All right, you're the greatest, Brian. Love listening. Keep up the good work, buddy.
All right, take care. Mike from New York, he's a good guy. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I want to mention again, and I'll probably mention this one more time today for South Florida radio listeners, but and I imagine many of you have heard, but maybe not, that Footy died from Y100. And let me tell you, Footy... I remember when he went by Athlete's Foot, and he used to, be the sidekick to Sonny Fox, and then he took over the show. Footy from Y100 is one of the legends of the South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach radio market. And to my knowledge, Steve Kane is the last survivor of those guys. There was this group of people when I was in high school that I used to listen to. And one of them was Steve Kane, of course, but of course Sonny Fox and Footy. And by the time he took over the show from Sonny on his own, I was on the air, so I didn't listen then. But I listened to him when he was with Sonny Fox, and just a great guy. I met him a couple of times, and he was always gracious and nice to me, and I appreciated that. But Footy from Y100 is really a sad thing, and he's been off the air for a long time. I don't know if I hope Y100 does some tributes to him. I mean, that show, Sonny in the Morning, with Sonny Fox and Footy, was just legendary. I remember when I was in high school, Y100, they would come to our pep rallies, and those guys, I mean, they were the greatest. All right, so let's go back to the phones. We did uncover something, though, courtesy of Rabbi David, and thanks, JJ, for giving us the timestamp. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Go ahead. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yeah. I hear
Hello?
them. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you called me. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian. This is me from Texas.
Hey, Texas.
Hey, let me tell you something. Texas is with you, buddy. You've been doing an awesome job. We love you here. I do. I've been watching your show now for years, so let me tell you, Jay from Jersey, he is a freaking jerk.
Yes.
You can let him know that.
Yes.
But I just wanted to tell you, you're doing an awesome job, and I love your show, Brian.
Well, thank you. You have very good taste in radio shows. Thank you so much. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Patricia from Massachusetts again.
Hey, Patricia.
Hey, I'm wondering, this suspect got released. Is that right?
Yeah, the white guy they were holding, they released him. Yes, they said he's not the guy.
So my question is, they found those weapons in the hotel room that he brought with him. Even as a serviceman, we just had a case here of a man moving from New Jersey to Massachusetts. He wasn't here 24 hours. He didn't register his gun in time, and he was in jail for almost 4 months before there was some public outrage.
Well, he may have legally had the guns.
But you can't go from state to state.
That's not true.
Like with Massachusetts. You don't think so? We don't really have reciprocity.
We don't have,
especially in these blue states.
We don't know. We don't know enough details to say that. I would not assume that.
I'm
they let
just
him go.
curious to see why he was released when we just had a similar case of a man crossing state lines. Because they have very similar gun laws.
You can transport guns. You can transport guns across state lines under certain circumstances and things. I don't know what they all are. We don't know enough about this guy to know. And
well, that was my question.
We don't even really know if what we've seen reported about the guns is true with him. You know what I mean? We haven't had a press conference where, these Providence, Rhode Island weirdo mayor. Doesn't the mayor look like Rachel Maddow?
Yes.
and the Providence, Rhode Island police chief that likes to speak Spanish to reporters, not English, and these liberal governor and everything else. They have these press conferences and they say nothing. They give you no
Yes,
details.
they
They
do.
say nothing, and they're bizarre.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. In these blue states, you're not allowed to just bring a gun into the state. They're going to keep you. And I'm like, I can't believe this guy was just let go. They didn't hold him on even coming over the
Again,
line.
maybe everything we've heard about the guns is not true. So we don't know. This is a developing story, and obviously in Rhode Island they're incompetent, stupid and incompetent.
Yes, they showed that. Sadly.
Well, they're
and
liberals.
today they just look defeated.
This police chief, the colonel that speaks Spanish at the press conferences in Providence, do you think that guy works with or against ICE agents?
Oh, I know they don't. They do not work with ICE agents.
No
and the
way.
other thing is just a whole nother topic is when they're doing the sign languages. I don't know if anyone speaks sign languages, but I'm going to call BS on the sign language people because I don't know what they're doing. So it just seems like a Saturday Night Live skit.
I will tell you this:
funny.
a good friend of mine is a professional sign language interpreter. Okay, so I'll ask them to give some analysis. But that lady that's doing the sign language for the Providence Mayor police conferences, I mean, she looks like she's just making crap up. I mean, she overdoes the body language. She's overdoing the body language and the faces. Yeah.
They just had one in Massachusetts that was doing sign languages for one of the.
You know what I wonder about that? I wonder why they do that in this instance. I understand you need to have sign language interpreters for things, but in the era of closed captioning, do they really need this lady making the faces next to them?
Right, and like I said, we just had one in Massachusetts that they called her out for the sign language she was doing. It found like she's not a sign language interpreter. She was just making everything she was doing up.
There was a big story a few years ago where that happened. It was a press conference. It was on national TV, and the person didn't even know sign language, the interpreter, and they were just, I don't know what they were doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't remember the situation of that. I can't. If anybody remembers that, let me know.
I know we just had one in Boston. I believe it was at Boston City Hall, and one of the, I don't know if it was the councilman or the mayor, and she was having a press conference, and this woman was just going off with these sign language so much that generally when you have the sign language, they're more discreet and they're doing stuff on the side. They're not
the lady in Providence. Her facial motions are so intense and it's bizarre that it's distracting.
It definitely is.
It's distracting.
Yes, exactly. And that's not how I believe they were set up. She's usually in the corner quietly, just doing the sign language for the folks. But now all of a sudden they've taken over the conference with their gestures, and they just.
I don't know why. I remember when I was in college, and they to graduate college, you have to take 2 semesters of a foreign language, and they should do away with that, and just do sign language. You should be able to take sign language for that requirement. Yeah. I think you'd get more. We'd get more use out of sign language than we would congregating Spanish verbs. Or whatever or French, I mean, golly, at least parents could have conversations without their children hearing them better if we all knew sign language.
Yes. A good one.
Yeah.
Good one. But
right.
Like I said, I would keep my eye on why that man was released with no gun charges. Blue states don't do that.
Okay. We'll find out. All right. Take care. I got to run for the break. Now, December, this is, it's a sad reality of things. But when it comes to heart attacks, December, the holiday time, is the deadliest time of year when it comes to heart attacks. And that's according to the American Heart Association, who say that, according to their statistics, more people die from heart attacks during the last week of December than at any other time of the year, with Christmas Day and New Year's Day being the most dangerous. That's why Life Imaging FLA offers free heart scans with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. While you're at Life Imaging FLA, ask them about their full body cancer screening so you get that ultimate peace of mind. Life Imaging FLA, they're all about proactive health. So this December, give yourself the gift of health. Schedule your scan today. Enjoy the holidays with confidence. And you can schedule that for a family member. Maybe you have a spouse or a child or a grandparent, and you want them to get those scans. Call them and take them. Set up the appointment and take them, okay? They have locations in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County. Pick up your cell phone and dial pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan. Pound 250, say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250 and say free heart scan. And you do get connected in seconds. All right. We'll take our last break of the 7 o'clock hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. We've got some good detectives out there in this audience who have put together quite a bit on the program today. So feel free to call in with your observations because we picked up on something big in our breaking news here, courtesy of Rabbi David and then that timestamp from JJ from Mass. All right, we'll be right back. Boy, oh boy, guys, something else, huh? We'll be right back, guys.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping. In the rugged shadow of Idaho's Sawtooth Mountains, courage isn't just taught, it's earned. And in the book, The Ghost Deer, The Sawtooth Legacy, Book 1, author R.B. Mahler delivers an unforgettable, heart-pounding, values-driven adventure the whole family will love. In The Ghost Deer, meet 13-year-old Tater Thompson, a ranch kid with big dreams, a loyal blue healer named Bandit, and a heart still learning what real courage looks like. When Tater discovers a legendary ghost deer, a massive white buck with a mysterious past, his childhood collides with a challenge far greater than he ever imagined. Faced with bullies, harsh wilderness storms, wild animals, and the dangerous weight of fear, Tater begins a journey to become the kind of young man his family always believed he could be. Along the way, he learns powerful truths about integrity, perseverance, forgiveness, sacrifice, and relying on God, even when doing the right thing feels impossible. The Ghost Deer is filled with life lessons, solid values, strong father and family role models, as well as edge-of-your-seat suspense. The Ghost Deer is the perfect clean adventure for tweens, teens, and anyone who loves classic stories of grit, growth, and of never giving up. Start the Sawtooth Legacy today and order Book 1, The Ghost Deer, available on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, hardcover, audiobook, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Begin the journey, discover the legend, and step into a series that builds character with each page. The Ghost Deer, The Sawtooth Legacy, from author R.B. Mahler. Order your copy right now. How would you like to make your child's Christmas unforgettable? You can do just that with Santa Voice. With Santa Voice, you generate a personal message from Santa. It's fast, fun, and magical. Just search Santa Voice in the App Store. That's Santa Voice in the App Store.
All right, we're in radio break for about 45 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you are. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you're interested in advertising on the program, you go to my website, briancraigshow.com, and you can email me there. All right, you hear all the ads that I do, and I'm the only one who checks those emails. So you can email me with your contact information and your business, and I'll take a look. All right, stand by. All right, guys, we're back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, you're welcome to call in about anything we brought up on the program today. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're listening. Something today is going to happen that is one of the most bizarre and maybe even sickest and twisted things I've ever seen. Erica Kirk is going to meet face-to-face in person with Candace Owens. But, hey, you know, this may be Candace Owens out to get out of this rabbit hole that she's in with the Charlie Kirk things that she's been doing. But last week on Outnumbered with Harris Faulkner, Erica Kirk was on there and called on Candace Owens to stop with these things she's been doing. And they're actually going to meet. This was Erica Kirk's suggestion, and Candace is going to do it. If Candace Owens is a decent person who really truly considered Charlie Kirk a friend and somewhat like a family member, all she would do is ask for her forgiveness, Erica Kirk. And now, Candace Owens has been getting a lot of heat for her bizarreness lately. So she may come out of this meeting. We don't know what time it's going to be today, and we don't know where. But Erica Kirk said she will be doing no public statements, not even post on X, until after they meet. And I'm expecting some photos because Erica Kirk, she even took a video of her holding Charlie's hand in the casket, remember? So she does document everything for social media. That's a generational thing. I know a lot of people think that's that's not something I would do, but I guess with that generation, that may be a common thing. But the question is, does Candace Owens want an out from this Charlie Kirk conspiracy rabbit hole craziness she's gotten into? Or I shared with you guys on Friday how much she's earning every month. And you got to give it, Erica Kirk, what she's going through now, holy smokes. For her to sit down and meet with this lunatic, Candace Owens, you got to really hand it to her. I think it's pretty tough what she's doing. I mean, when you're grieving and you lose someone close to you like that, I can't even imagine when you lose a spouse and so young in such a graphic way that a billion, maybe more, multiple billions of people saw. It was the first political assassination, not just since 1968, but the first one like in 4K. I mean, it's just awful. I wish I wouldn't have seen it. And I imagine you guys feel the same. And what Erica Kirk is going through, oh, man. I was trying to get Charlie Kirk's new book. It's sold out, and I looked on Amazon. It didn't look like it was available in Kindle, about the Sabbath, honoring the Sabbath. And because I do want to read that book, but I don't know if I don't see it in Kindle, but maybe I actually want the physical book, not the Kindle edition on that one. I don't know. But you got to really hand it to Erica Kirk for meeting with Candace today to try to stop this hurt and pain that she's causing to so many people who are grieving and Charlie Kirk's own family. And if Candace Owens were a normal person, instead of a psychopathic, narcissist, lunatic, she'd be embarrassed to meet Erica Kirk. Wouldn't you be embarrassed if you were her? But you're a normal person. She's not. To her, when Erica Kirk went after Candace Owens on Outnumbered last week, I shared the clip last week on the program. I'm not going to play it now, but Candace Owens, she was like high-fiving it. She was so excited. That was it. She could go on, And Candace Owens went on the record and said that she would stop talking about this if Erica Kirk asked her to. And then she did. And then she quadrupled down and didn't stop talking about it. She quadrupled down on talking about it. So that's going to be a big story that we will get today. Now, I want to tell you guys, Mike Lindell, the next governor of Minnesota, huge Christmas specials going on. 50% off the MyPillow towel set, over 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets, all with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. Over 50% off the premium MyPillows. Huge savings on the MyPillow mattress toppers. The MyPillow slippers is $39.98. Huge savings with our promo code KANE at checkout. And the 6-piece MyPillow towel set, these all make great Christmas gifts. There's still time. Right before I went on the air today, I spilled coffee all over my desk here, and I grabbed my MyPillow towel and cleaned it all up. It's better than Bounty paper towels. They're that absorbent. Go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, and load up for Christmas and support the next governor of Minnesota. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back with your calls and much more right after this. Hey, Brian Craig here. You hear me talk with attorney Barry Siegel every day about how we can help you and your family. Now here's one of our listeners, Frances, sharing her experience of how attorney Barry Siegel made a difference in her life and took a weight off her shoulders.
I was really looking for something to help me secure my holdings, which is actually not a whole bunch of bank account savings and a house and a car for my 2 daughters. I was worried that if I had just a regular will, things would get tied up in probate, and that would take 2 years. So I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call, and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice. They assured me that they could help. I went over there, and they sat with me, and we went over everything. And I ended up with this wonderful trust for my 2 daughters. So if something does happen to me, things just turn over to them, and it'll make it so much easier for them. And it took a great load off of my mind as to how I would take care of my 2 daughters. I was very pleased with the attorney, Barry Siegel. Finding him helped me assure that my 2 daughters will be well taken care of in the event that I won't be here.
Give attorney Barry Siegel a call right now. Toll free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Hank from Hollywood. How you doing?
All right, Hank. What's on your mind?
I called Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. He sent out Scott. Now, Scott is absolutely the best. Scott and Scott's crew are the absolute best. They gave me a great price. They did the job when they said they were going to do it. They finished the job when they said they were going to do it. The materials they used, absolutely the best. I want to thank Tom. I definitely want to thank Scott, and definitely want to thank Scott's crew. These people are number one, and I just want your listeners to know, Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. If you need a new roof, call Tom at Tom Laporta Roofing. You're not going to go wrong. You're not going to be disappointed.
Do what Hank did. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. How would you like to make your child's Christmas unforgettable? You can do just that with Santa Voice. With Santa Voice, you generate a personal message from Santa. It's fast, fun, and magical. Just search Santa Voice in the App Store. That's Santa Voice in the App Store. We have less than a minute and we'll be back. You know, guys, if you're watching with the green wall behind me, to see and hear all the audio and video and things I show, you got to go to my main live stream, which is pinned in the description. If you're new, my name's Brian. We're on our radio station break. Oh, I better check the time. Okay. For about 30 more seconds, we'll be back. I'm going to talk a little bit about Rob Reiner here when we get back. All right, we're back. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I mean, we've just had a weekend of death, right? Footy from Y100, Australia, Syria, Brown University. And then I woke up this morning with one that really shocked me, was the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife, stabbed to death. And as of this morning, the lead suspect allegedly was his son, who has a history of drug abuse. And this one here is another one. Rob Reiner, see, people that are old enough to remember All in the Family. All in the Family, back in the day when All in the Family was on television, there was no cable. Forget about all this streaming stuff, right? The lowest rated show, many more times the listeners as the highest, our viewers as the highest rated television shows today. I mean, the impact of All in the Family was massive. And Rob Reiner was a two favorite Rob Reiner movies that he directed, not Spinal Tap. I've never been really a big fan of that. His two best movies, in my view, that he directed are Misery, which I've not seen in a long time, with Kathy Bates and James Caan, and are his best, I think. The ones, at least, that I could watch again. And Misery's crazy. I mean, Misery reminds me of some of the listeners we have in this audience, right? Oh, Rob Reiner. And I'm going to play this. This is Rob Reiner on the Piers Morgan show, and if it was his son, who they're saying is the lead suspect, you can only imagine what Rob Reiner and his wife have been through. I've known parents that have children that are troubled like that, and it's just a life of just roughness. But Rob Reiner, on Piers Morgan, this clip is right after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and I remember playing this at the time, because it's not that long ago, when Rob blaming Charlie Kirk for his own assassination, like he got what he deserved, but not Rob Reiner. Listen, this is Rob Reiner on Piers Morgan.
Well, horror, absolute horror, and I unfortunately saw the video of it, and it's to anybody. I don't care what your political beliefs are. That's not acceptable. That's not a solution to solving problems. And I felt like what his wife said at the service, that the memorial they had, was exactly right. And totally, I believe. I'm Jewish, but I believe in the teachings of Jesus, and I believe in doing to others, and I believe in forgiveness. And what she said to me was beautiful and absolutely admirable.
Yeah, and I remember that clip, and sharing that with you at the time. And Rob Reiner, who was murdered, that Rob Reiner wasn't out there in the celebrity world, whether it was, during the Meathead days on All in the Family, or, or just, talking about politics in the last few years all over television. But Rob Reiner, hardcore liberal, hardcore leftist, don't make no mistake about it, but he may have been the last decent Democrat out there, right? You know how all these liberals were talking, but not Rob Reiner. So God bless him, and pray for him and his wife, and just a sad and terrible way to go for, and a few, come on. How many of you have not said, you can't handle the truth? That's him. That's him. Yeah, it was pretty sad. Pretty sad, man, I tell you. Boy, oh boy, Rob Reiner. I'll tell you another thing that's sad is what these low-life scumbuckets did to the president over the weekend with that photo with the models. This is why, when you have a decent Democrat like Rob Reiner was, you gotta highlight it. They're not, when you hear people say that there used to be, yeah, Stand By Me is a good movie too, but I'm not, that movie's for older people than me. It's that generation. But that was a good movie. I haven't seen that in a long time, Stand By Me. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. But A Few Good Men I've probably seen like 50 times or something. And JAG, that television show JAG and NCIS were born out of A Few Good Men. JAG was a ripoff of A Few Good Men. That was a pretty good movie. And it holds up, A Few Good Men. I like it. Anyway, when you've got a decent Democrat, you gotta highlight it. And with the left, what the Democrats and the fake news media did to our president over the weekend. So the Democrats, they released this photograph with President Trump, that black and white photo, with his arms around all these women with boxes over their faces. They say they're from the Epstein files and imply that they're underage. Not imply, they say that they were underage girls. Now, first of all, you would have to be the dumbest pedo in history to bring out all these underage girls, especially when you're worldwide famous like Donald Trump has always been. You bring out all these underage girls and line them up in bikinis and put your arm around them and pose for a photograph. I mean, that's one of those things that doesn't even pass that smile test that Steve's always talking about. And then, of course, the truth comes out that those were all models, Hawaiian Tropic models in their 20s who were at Mar-a-Lago doing a photo shoot for the suntan lotion at Mar-a-Lago, and he went and took a picture with them. I would have done the same thing, wouldn't you? And the reason they put the boxes over their faces is because they knew there was nothing wrong with the photograph, but they wanted to create the illusion there was. And I'll remind you, do you guys remember Duck Dynasty? Remember the TV show Duck Dynasty? I was never a big fan of Duck Dynasty. I watched it once or twice, but it was a big thing. And do you remember why Duck Dynasty was popular? What really made it popular? Do you remember? Because if you went back and you watched Duck Dynasty, you'll see this. They constantly had the censor bleep in. Beep, 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 because they were using so much profanity. Remember that? Beep, 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 beep. And they were rich, deliverance-looking people, but rich, millionaires. But it was always beeping. Bleep, 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 because of the profanity. Well, at some point, one of the Duck Dynasty family members came out. They were really ticked off about it because they're good Christians. They were not using profanity, they said. They don't cuss, and there was no profanity there. But when they were doing the editing, they put the editors at the network put the censor bleeps in to make it sound like they were using profanity to make the show more interesting. And when Duck Dynasty first became a big hit, it was because of the language. That's what the buzz was about, all the censor bleeps in the beginning. Later, it changed, but that's what made the show famous. They wouldn't be famous without those bleeps. But they were all fake. They didn't use profanity. Well, that's what they did with President Trump, with the Hawaiian Tropic models. There's nothing wrong or inappropriate about that. Anyone, male or female, by the way, would line up to take their pictures with the Hawaiian Tropics models. If they came to your house to do a model shoot for Sunday, of course you would. Just like you would do the same thing with the Rockettes, but they put the boxes over their face. And then they had another one with President Trump with a woman on a private plane. They had a box over her face. And then the picture comes out, and it's a woman well in her 30s who looks like one of those flight attendants for the private planes. These people are sick and twisted. And everyone in the mainstream media that ran with that story and said the things they did last week, they should be censored for that. I've never heard anything like that. Okay. Now I want to talk about. Oh, okay. All right. Now listen, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Oh man, call them no matter where you are and schedule your no-charge consultation. You've seen my weight loss, over 35 pounds. And I highlight this a lot because it's so important. Without exercise, which is absolutely amazing, right? Without exercise, with eating foods I would normally eat, and without starving myself, and no shots, no injections, no prescriptions, and it works. I lost about a pound a day. You can do the same. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You can lose 25 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, even more. And we've had listeners from all over the United States call and losing a ton of weight as we speak. Here's the number, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
This is George Colony. I'm in the real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Kai's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You could call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number. And I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
Peptide research is exploding, and GLP-1 is leading the charge. Across the country, researchers are exploring metabolic, regenerative, and cellular repair models like never before. At MyPurePeptide.com, based in Dallas, Texas, they supply high-purity, lab-verified peptides for controlled research environments. Whether your work involves GLP-1 metabolic studies tied to weight and energy balance, cellular health and modulation models, or tissue repair pathways, MyPurePeptide.com is committed to supporting your research with clarity and consistency. Visit MyPurePeptide.com and use code DALLAS to save 25% on your order for research use only. MyPurePeptide.com.
All right, we have about 45 seconds and we'll be back live. We were having some technical problems with the connection to the station, you may have noticed. I'm watching here, but it's all fixed now. Oh boy. If you're on hold, stand by. I got a few more things I want to share. Oh, man, it's hot. Hold on, guys. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. This is Florida's longest running radio show. All right, so much as if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll free call no matter where you are. This god awful jihadi attack in Australia. You know, I saw some of the video from the beach on X yesterday, and it's like I talked about with Charlie. I wish I wouldn't have seen it, but sometimes these things, they pop up in your feed, and you don't know what you're seeing until you see it. And apparently, they have had a lot of attacks on Jews in Australia. This has been an ongoing thing, you know, with these liberals. And what I realized over the weekend, that, you know, these problems that we have in the United States, the out-of-control immigration from the southern border that President Trump's gotten under control, the trafficking that President Trump's getting under control, the Somali problem that we have in Minnesota with the theft and everything else. These are not uniquely American. This is wherever there is a first world country, these things are going on, right? United States. Europe's done. The United States, Australia. I came across a show I started watching over the weekend, or early yesterday morning. It's about customs, and it's an Australian television show. I saw it online, a couple episodes. It's about custom enforcement officers in Australia at the airport. And they have the same problems in Australia with their border that we have with us here in this country, just in a different way, because they're a big island, you know, but they don't have a land border, but it's done at the airports and through the ports. And it's the same thing. I'd mentioned in the first hour, I read a story over the weekend that really surprised me. I was really shocked to see this, that in Japan, there was a big protest in Japan by Japanese against the Islamification of Japan that is going on. There's a big Muslim move into Japan. There's been a massive Muslim move into Australia with these attacks that have been going on, including the one over the weekend at the beach. And in this country, you know, we see the corruption and things that are going on. What happened at Brown is still up in the air, although Laura Loomer continues to report that witnesses at Brown said that the shooter said Allah Akbar. We'll find out his identity. They let the guy go they had in custody, in case you don't know. But I went and found this clip of Charlie Kirk from Great Britain News. Charlie, not long before he was assassinated, went to the UK and did a tour. He went to Oxford, debated some of the kids over there and everything else. And did some, but GB News is Great Britain News. They're very, very good. I was talking about them on Friday's show. But listen to what Charlie Kirk has to say here, and ask yourself, is he right?
The question is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not. There are three major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion. And Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those three things are antithetical to the West. In a Muslim-majority country, most Muslim-majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad. In most Muslim-majority countries, you do not have the same robust freedom of religion protections. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam. And the last thing I'll finally say is I cannot see a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer.
By what metric? Just happiness, quality?
Okay, now this is it. Now this part here is why I share this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
Single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer.
By what metric? Just happiness, quality?
Everything from quality of life, from cultural cohesion, from whether people want to live there, prior to the native-born fertility rates.
Again, people watching this will say is your criticism of the religion itself or not Muslim people? Because there are British Muslims who have been born here.
You don't have to caveat it all the time. I know you guys have to because you're British and all that. A culture ceases to exist when we don't have unified language. When you cannot talk to your neighbor. I'm not discounting that there are good individual Muslims. The question that we need to reckon with the West is Mohammedanism compatible with the teachings of Blackstone? Is it compatible with the legacy of Wilberforce?
All right.
And the great thinkers that have come from this country? And I will say, no, there's a reason why when you go to these Islamic countries that you're not going to see the equal protection of rights, that you do not believe in universal human equality, that you do not believe the same things that we believe in the West. And I think it's suicidal to import millions of them.
Yeah, and you know what, just on a passing point on that, it's most of the time, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even multicultural. Because there was an example there was a school a few months ago during Easter which cancelled Easter celebrations out of respect for other faiths. So it's not as if the word multicultural and multi-diverse doesn't include Christianity.
No, and again, this is the red-green axis, and Britain is at the forefront of this. You have the Marxists that have infiltrated your government and the Islamists that are coming to your country. And when they combine together, they both agree on one thing. They have huge disagreements on a lot. They hate the West, and they want to see it broken. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and with that anchor, the guy that's interviewing Charlie Kirk said he said multiculturalism doesn't include Christianity, no doubt. I was watching one of these things. I wanted to play this, but I didn't keep it. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'll play it another day on the program. Somebody had sent me this video clip, and it blew me away. And what it was one. You ever see those things online where they're in a whole white room, floor's white, walls white, and they have a whole bunch of people in there, and they're doing something. And what they were doing was a match, trying to match people for a date, right? And these girls were looking like for the ideal guy. And there was an Asian girl. I don't know what her Asian ethnicity was, if she was like Chinese, Japanese, or Korean. I don't know, but she was Asian, Filipino, I don't know, but she was Asian. And she wouldn't pick the white guy. And she said and this is what she said, "I'm not into the colonialist vibe." Now, first off, she's Asian in America. So what, the Asian, is she, indigenous, her ancestors indigenous to the Americas? She called him a colonialist, as not a white guy, not Caucasian, not a honky. She said, "I'm not into the colonialist vibe." Never heard that before. Is that a new racial slur that non-whites use for us white people? Very strange what's going on here. And it's all brought to you by liberals. I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas was on the show Friday, and he brought something up that was very important, and I'm going to share it with you. Now, when you call Joe Thomas and take advantage of that no-charge consultation, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located, you'll get his expert explanation of this, okay? What you're going to get from me is an extreme layman's point of view from my recollection from our conversation, but it really set off sirens. We were talking on Friday in studio, Joe Thomas and I. We were talking about the interest rates are going to drop next year. President Trump, even yesterday, last night at the White House, he's can't wait to get rid of Jerome Powell and get a thinking person in there, and the interest rates are going to drop. Well, what Joe Thomas had said was those of you that have, and I can't remember all the investment vehicles, okay? So one of them was CDs. I don't remember what the other ones are. But he says they're running high right now. When the interest rates drop, your return on those is going to drop as well. And he'll be able to give you a more detailed expert opinion of this, okay? This is just from my recollection from our conversation on Friday. So I said to Joe, there's that old saying when it comes to investing, buy low and sell high. With these things, the 401ks, the CDs, whatever the other ones were, this is the high. And he says, yeah, now's the time to transfer into an annuity, because when the interest rates come down a lot, which they're going to do with President Trump's new Fed head, you're going to lose on those. So this is the time. Give Joe Thomas a call. He has over 30 years of retirement planning experience. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Barry Siegel Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. And it's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one of them to my liking, and they were wonderful and always polite. Never showed any aggravation, or because I contacted them many times. Always polite. And not only that, when you finish your documents and you leave this world, your beneficiaries could go there and they'll explain everything to them, which is a big deal, because a lot of these beneficiaries or heirs, they're not cognizant of what to do. I just wanted to let you know that the Siegel Group is above and beyond any other attorney that I have ever contacted. Plus, they give you a big portfolio at the end with a leather-bound documents. It's beautiful.
Give the Siegel Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Hank from Hollywood. How you doing?
All right, Hank. What's on your mind?
I called Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. He sent out Scott. Now, Scott is absolutely the best. Scott and Scott's crew are the absolute best. They gave me a great price. They did the job when they said they were going to do it. They finished the job when they said they were going to do it. The materials they used, absolutely the best. I want to thank Tom. I definitely want to thank Scott, and definitely want to thank Scott's crew. These people are number one, and I just want your listeners to know, Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. If you need a new roof, call Tom at Tom Laporta Roofing. You're not going to go wrong. You're not going to be disappointed.
Do what Hank did. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaRoofing.com.
All right, we're still in break on the radio. I'm queuing up a couple things for the last couple of seconds, and I don't have much time. There's one I'm looking for. Okay, I got a minute. There's one I'm looking for. I can't find. If you're on hold, stand by. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. I got less than a minute to find this. Here it is. Good, just found it. Perfect. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Boy, the show has flown by. Oh, my goodness. I just looked at the clock. I thought that this was like the quarter after break, and then we just came out of the bottom of the hour break. The show is flying by. I got a bunch of stuff I got to get to, and I may go through some of this stuff quicker than I normally would, but I want to share them because they're important things. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Now, I was talking last week that I went out and got gas and filled up my wife's car, and it was less than $30. I was so excited. But we're paying higher prices for gas in Florida than they are elsewhere. This is a local news story out of Colorado where gas is as low as $1.93 a gallon. Listen.
Another $1.93 at the Exxon off of Garden of the Gods Road. Gas prices in Colorado are extremely low. Colorado ranking 4th lowest nationally, according to AAA.
I came here out of my way to get gas because it's a lot cheaper here.
In El Paso County, the average gas price per gallon is $2.34, $2.41 a gallon in Pueblo County.
I mean, this is insane, right?
$1.93.
$1.93.
Gas is $1.93, which is awesome. I can't believe it. I haven't seen these prices since 2021. I don't know.
But why are gas prices so low?
Refiners are making.
Now, okay, now this is amazing. So they find gas for $1.93 a gallon. I almost feel like driving to Colorado and going to that gas station. Wouldn't it be exciting to pay $1.93 a gallon for gas? Oh my goodness, I'd be so excited. So they got this great story. So then they go to this liberal economics guy to try to explain it away. Listen to this jerk.
Low.
Refiners are making fuel. Less and less people are driving. Drives price down.
In other words, there is more supply but less demand.
No, there's more supply because of drill baby drill. People are still driving all over the place.
Stations in Colorado that are $1.70 a gallon, and you haven't.
Wow, this liberal says there's gas stations in Colorado as low as $1.70 a gallon. He just said
In Colorado that are $1.70 a gallon, and you haven't seen that since COVID. That's great for families. That's great for consumers. That's great for Christmas budgets.
Especially with the holidays coming up, like every bit helps.
Yeah, $1.07. When was gas $1.93 a gallon last, or $1.70? I can't even remember. The 90s. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jim from Montana.
Yeah, Montana. You called me. What's on your mind?
Well, Trump's a Zionist, or at least he's controlled by them, and he's getting 230
Hold on a second. Slow down. I couldn't. You're mumbling a little bit, so I couldn't understand the first part. Trump's a what? Oh, he hung up. I think he said Zionist. I wanted to hear more about that. You know, here we have this god-awful Islamic terror attack targeting Jews in Australia. We may have that at Brown University. The guy was reportedly had said Allah Akbar. We don't know yet, but what his motivations are, they haven't got him yet. But Laura Loomer's reporting that students said he yelled Allah Akbar. And I got a guy here calling me from Montana who's worried about Jews. The Jews are the ones getting killed, buddy. He hung up. I would have asked him about all this if he didn't hang up. If you're on hold, hang in there. Boy, oh boy. I never thought that people would forget about the Holocaust. I really never did. Now, there's another thing. This was Susie Wiles, the White House Chief of Staff. She's absolutely amazing. The left want to keep telling you that Trump's tired. He's tired. Well, he works around the clock. And Susie Wiles, for those out there that are liberally impaired, Susie Wiles is the White House Chief of Staff for President Trump. And I do believe she's the first female Chief of Staff. And she was talking about she did a podcast interview, Susie Wiles, and she's talking about her work schedule and the president's work schedule. Listen to this.
We start every day early with
How early?
7:45.
Okay.
With a security briefing.
Okay.
we take it. They wouldn't like to hear me say this, but it's a data point. It's not necessarily what we operate from. It's what they've heard or overheard or seen in other parts of the world. And then my days are all the same: security briefing, senior staff meeting, and then an operations meeting. And then the day starts. The president works 24/7, as I think everybody knows.
I don't know when he sleeps. Does he ever sleep?
No.
He doesn't.
No. And when we travel, it's a killer because normal people do need to get some sleep, but he doesn't.
And do you travel a lot with him?
I do. I don't go everywhere, but I'm a little bit selfish. Places I've never been, like Korea and Malaysia, I did go. I mean, it's work, but you still get to see a part of the world you might not ever otherwise see. But he sort of does phone calls and sometimes call-in radio and all that stuff in the morning. And he'll come in mid-morning. So by the time he gets in, I better have done everything I needed to do for the day. And then it's a very long day. Meetings and some spontaneous conversations. And he usually finishes around 8, 9, and maybe earlier 7 if he has a dinner, which he's busy most nights. And we stay there until he goes. And he's 25 paces down the hall from me, so I hear it when he's still there. And it's a long week, and I usually, work late on Friday and get all my work caught up, and then Saturday afternoons. But Sunday, no, church on Sunday and take the day, and then we start over on Monday.
Wow, so he basically works 24 hours a day, President Trump. Yeah, you'd be tired too if you're working 20 hours a day running the world. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ethan. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, Ethan in Atlanta.
So, okay, I'll cut right to the chase. Do you think Trump is a grassroots candidate, and do you think he is America First?
Yes, on both counts. And if you go back to all three of his campaigns, all grassroots levels with the Trump rallies, those are grassroots events. And obviously, he's America First. Look at what he's doing with blowing these drug cartels out of the water.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, finish. Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, is taking $100 million from Miriam Adelson, is that America First?
What does that mean? You mean a campaign donation?
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
Remember
You're aware. Let me ask you a question. You're aware that there have been major anti-Semitic attacks where Jews were murdered for being Jews over the weekend. You're aware of this, correct?
Where did that come from?
Australia. Do you see what happened in Australia? The Jews that were murdered by the jihadis.
I live in America.
Oh, okay. Then you're okay. You live in America. Then you're very well aware that at Brown University there was a shooting over the weekend at Brown University. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
There were 2 people so far who died. People could die that were wounded and haven't yet, but 2 died. One was a young girl who was the head of the Brown University Republican Club. There's like 5 Republicans, and she's one of them. And the second one, who is believed to have been targeted, is a Jewish professor who taught Israeli and Jewish studies. So we got an anti-Semitic attack in America. So, Mr. America First, what are you concerned about Adelson when Jews are being killed in this country simply for being Jews? What's your comment?
Obviously I disregard, not disregard, should I say, but I'm against any violence of any kind, especially when it's particularly aimed at an ethnic group for just the sole reason of them being a certain.
Yeah, well, you're targeting an ethnic group. You're targeting Jews. Why don't?
You asked for my answer.
I got your answer. Why do you hate Jews?
Where is this coming from? Where did you get the I hate Jews?
From your idiotic question.
Because I asked about him taking donos from a million.
Well, you're asking about taking a donation from a Jewish guy. You're implying that there's something corrupt about taking money from Jewish people as a donor. You're not, people of all ethnicities and religions donate, but you single out a Jewish donor. Why?
Yeah, because the problem is, I'll tell you why. Because
you hate Jews.
I mean, do you deny that there is a lot of Jewish donors disproportionately in our country that are affecting politics, and that lobbying is not good for American society outside of
everything you said's untrue.
American.
Everybody lobbies.
American's life is better.
Everybody lobbies.
Term, the average American's life is better.
Better than what?
When better than it was, let's say, in 2016.
Yes.
Are you actually serious?
Yeah, in fact,
in
this year alone, in 2025, all right, there's been a 35% decrease in Americans dying from drug overdoses because of President Trump clamping down on fentanyl. That's about 35% decrease, which is about 25,000 people. There's 25,000 people who are alive that would have been dead if it wasn't for President Trump, just from fentanyl overdoses alone. That's just one example. So yeah, their lives are better off. Now, just because you're a loser and feel like a loser, and you want to blame people other than yourself for being a loser, maybe your life's not better.
I live a pretty good life.
I can tell.
So I'll say this. One, fentanyl users make up for about less than 1% of the American
It's 25,000 people. You said, is anyone's life better off than it was? 25,000 Americans are alive who would be dead.
I said the average American. I said, is the average
American
those
25,000. No, those 25,000 people.
You interrupt a lot.
You're interrupting me. The 25,000 people.
You've never let me get out.
Okay, well, now you're totally interrupted. For those 25,000 people, they're average Americans, and their lives are better off because they're alive. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. Oh, boy. All right.
Good morning.
Hi there. We've got 1 minute. I'm going to put you on hold, and I'll be right back with you. All right?
Okay.
All right, we are back, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with our first look at the gold and precious metals for the week. William Youngerman, how the metals starting off?
Metals are starting off very strong after a good week last week. Friday, we saw gold hit right off just $1 from its all-time record high of $4,355. We got up to $43.54 after trading in a range of $42.56 to $43.54 and closing out the week at $4,298.70, which was up $19.60 on Friday. Silver got up to $64.70 on Friday and then closed down on the day, $1.63 down at $61.87. Platinum was up $48 on Friday, closing out the week at $1,742, and palladium gained $1, closing out the week at $14.80. The rally continues here. Today we saw gold trading in the range so far, $42.94 all the way up to $4,351. And right now we're at $4,340 the ounce. That's up $41.50 this morning.
Wow.
Silver up $2.03 at $63.90 the ounce. And we got as high as $64.08 so far this morning, over $64 for silver. Platinum was up $40 right now at $1,782. And palladium up $60 at $1,540 the ounce.
Wow.
So the metals are starting off the week very strong.
Yeah.
And looks like gold this week is certainly going to most likely make an all-time new record high price.
Absolutely. You know, I wanted to talk to you this morning about fractional gold, which, I've always liked fractional gold because, when you need money for something, you can come over to William Youngerman's and turn it into cash without getting rid of a whole ounce. But, with these great prices, fractional gold's really, really good. And I like the 10th ounce and the quarter ounce, and there's the half ounce. There's even sizes smaller. But can we first talk about the 10th, quarter, and half ounce gold that you offer? What are some of the good buys and what you have available?
Yeah, we have great buys on the 10th and quarter ounce coins, both in the United States, Gold Eagles,
really,
and the Royal Canadian Mint Maple Leafs, which are pure gold coins, 1/10 and quarter ouncers. So we can give you great values on those coins, lowest premiums in many, many years on some of these fractionals right now. So great buying opportunity to take advantage of there. Of course, we also have small size gold bars, but the coins make a great gift also, and they are a great way of owning gold without having to buy a full ounce.
Yeah, well, at these great prices gold is at, a 10th ounce of gold's a lot of money right now, right? If you need some money for something, you got a 10th ounce gold. And I run into a guy in your shop many times and buys nothing but 10th ounce coins. And boy, oh boy, you get 10 of them, you got a whole ounce, but you need you go out to buy a new car or you need to get a new, boy, it comes in handy real quick. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Give them a call, toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, and find both his address and phone number at williamyoungerman.com, his website. All right, William, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thanks.
You too. Take care. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Keith. I'm calling from Northern Colorado.
All right, Keith in Colorado. What's on your mind?
Well, I just want to say, Brian, I think that you're pretty brave for not having like a producer taking calls, and I appreciate that. I tune in because I disagree with a lot of what you're saying, but I like to hear what your thoughts are. Someone who disagrees with me, I think it's important to listen and.
Well, what could you possibly disagree with me about? You sound too reasonable to disagree with me on much.
Well, I disagree with anyone who wraps himself up with one particular leader. I would never tie myself to a mortal man, a person like you have with
what does that mean?
A crook, a thief. You're unapologetically in love with Trump. You've tied your whole personality to him. You're obviously making good money off of him, which is fine. But I mean, it's gross. You're realizing.
So you think this is interesting? I love liberals. I take back that you sound reasonable. You're insane. Notice I hear this from liberals sometimes. For some reason, they think making money is dirty. That's usually somebody that has none of it. The ways, you're making money.
You're right. I'm a blue collar worker.
Excuse me. Let me finish my thoughts. The Steve Kane Show is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, right? Been on the air almost half a century. I've been on the air over 35 years. Trump's been on the scene for 10. While I'm as strong of a supporter of President Trump, but we were doing this before President Trump came down the escalator by decades. So, that's just a way. No. So when you say things like that, that's just a way to discount the truth. I was talking to my mother over the weekend who, why is that funny? You don't talk to your mom?
My mom passed away. She died under Trump 1.
Oh, okay. I guess it's his fault. Trump's first term. I was talking to my mother over the weekend, and I was talking to her about the big tax deduction she's getting from the big, beautiful bill on her Social Security. It's like $6,000 tax deduction. My mother, who's retired, she's going on 75. She's retired, and she's getting a $6,000 tax deduction from President Trump and the big, beautiful bill that she wouldn't have. And that money's going to come in handy for my mom, who's retired and a widow next year. How could you be against that? Can you put your seatbelt on?
I'm absolutely not.
Put your seatbelt on.
Against that.
Put your seatbelt on, or shut the door.
Boss. Hey, clean out your. Okay.
Why would you be against? The $2,000 that you're going to get next year from President Trump that he's promised to give all of us taxpayers. You're a blue.
I will tell you why. Wars in Venezuela, wars in Iraq, where my brothers are going out and volunteering to be soldiers, and they don't come back.
You lost your brothers in Iraq. Wait a minute. You lost your brothers in Iraq.
I did not want my brother.
You said you lost your brothers in Iraq. You said you lost.
I did not say I lost him.
You didn't lose your brothers.
I watched them. I watched him march off, and I watched him come back.
Your brothers. You said that your brothers went to Iraq and didn't come back. Now you're saying that's not true.
One brother.
You lost a brother. You lost a brother in Iraq.
No, I lost him because he is gone. He is no longer the man he once was.
Oh, he survived. Okay, he didn't die. He didn't die. He came back alive. Okay. You imply
it's all hyperbole with you guys.
No, you're the hyperbole.
Guy...
You implied that you had multiple brothers who were killed in the war in Iraq, which, by the way, is not Trump's war. And now you're saying you have one brother who came back alive. Get off the phone. I mean, what a lunatic. What an idiot. What the hell? Gee whiz. Oh, my goodness. These people. I mean, it's never ending. It's never ending. Oh, my goodness. I want to talk about Wings Plus in Coral Springs on Sample Road. If you're on hold, stand by. I got a call from a listener in the first hour on Friday. She had her Christmas party at Wings Plus, the Sample Road location in Coral Springs. Yeah, you can have events there. There's a lot of corporate events there. A lot of times people have, because they have special rooms that you can privatize over at Wings Plus, and the food's great, right? They have private rooms. You can have your corporate event there. You can have a Christmas party. You can have your own private football party if you want, because they have TVs in every room. But yeah, a lot of people, a lot of Republican clubs have their meetings at Wings Plus on Sample Road. A lot of people do corporate events there and Christmas parties, and you can too. Wings Plus on Sample Road is about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. When you're in there, make sure you tell Brian, he's the owner, that you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. My mouth is watering, and I'm starting to get hungry right now. I every time I talk about Wings Plus, I know it's not real. I know I've got a psychological memory, but I can smell the wings right now. The medium hot wings. I love them. So stop in. These are not just the best wings in town. These are the best wings anywhere. I'm a big wings guy. I've had them everywhere. You'll get nothing like you get at Wings Plus. They're so good. Everything's homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Wings Plus on Sample Road in Coral Springs. All right. You're on the air.
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Oh, hey, Renee. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Now, I think that these Ashkenazi Nazis that are killing Palestinians for sport, before they start claiming anti-Semitism, they have to claim that they're actually Jews.
Okay, now slow down. Now, when you, no, you're interrupting me, and I'm allowing you to speak on the program. No, we had two Muslims, a father and son, that murdered Jews for being Jews in Australia. What's your comment on that?
I'm in New York.
Okay, what's your comment about the Jewish professor in Rhode Island at Brown University, right down the road from you? You only care about New York? All right, take care. What an idiot. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name's Tom. I'm calling from Central Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Why do you think we should be suffering for medical care in the U.S. and sending our money to Israel?
Israel? Why is it all you guys... first of all, excuse... Oh, we got right at the end. Right at the end, Mike. Right at the end. You always got to be listening. Do you know that foreign aid that we give to Israel is under the condition that they've got to spend it in the United States? Did you guys know that? That's true. But I never hear any of these people talk about our military expenditures or foreign aid to South Korea, as an example. There's many other countries. It's only the foreign aid that we give to Israel. Why don't you ever call in about the money we spend protecting Japan? And we've been doing that since 1945. It's always Israel. All right. Another one's in the can. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. Oh, boy, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And those of you on hold, stand by. You'll be first in line on tomorrow's show. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. God bless Donald Trump. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. All right, we're clear. I just want to mention what I just said at the end again to you guys. I was quick because we're up against the end. These anti-Semites, like those last couple guys, he told me to shut the F up, which you can't say on the radio. If it was right here, I'd let it go. Why is it they only complain about foreign aid to Israel and not South Korea, or how much money do we spend every year and have spent since 1945 and Japan. And there's many other countries. You could go around the world. It's only Israel. It's because they're anti-Semites. They hate Jews. That's why. And it seems we've got a run of anti-Semites in Colorado. But I want to say, this is a very important point for those of you that are anti-Semites out there. And there's another point I want to make about the other caller, too, about my Trump obsession, he says. The foreign aid that we give to Israel, they have to spend that money in the United States. So say we give them $1 billion for defense. They have to buy American-made products with it. It doesn't leave the country. Did you guys know that? No. They spend it. They have to spend it here. Well, yeah, you don't hear that talked about too much. The other thing is, this one guy said, oh, you're just in this for the money and Trump and all this stuff. Every time there's whoever the president is, Republican or Democrat, liberals call, they used to do this during Obama. What are you guys going to do when Obama's not president? You're not going to have anything to gripe about. When Bill Clinton was president and we were going on about Bill Clinton, whoa, you and Steve, you're not going to have anything to talk about once Bill Clinton's not president anymore. You know what I mean? Every time there's a president and it's their second term, we get the calls. What are you going to do when Trump's not in office? What are you going to do when Clinton's not in office? What are you going to do when Bush 1's not in office? I mean, these calls go back. I mean, it's ridiculous. Hold on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Brian.
Yes.
Oh, hi. This is Joan in Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan.
All those anti-Semitic people and with Israel, fighting, the Palestinians, they're the ones that started it. That Hamas started it.
Mm-hmm.
Israelis were going after them until they went and did that rock concert.
That's true. That's true. All right, Joan, I got to run. You make some good points. So listen, guys, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, please like and share the video. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll talk to you later today. Take care.